What is going on, everybody? It is episode 452 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We have two lovely guests on the show today. Firstly, Sara. Hello.
Hey, pop culture people.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Doing good?
Pop culture people.
It's they're called crisis actors here.
I've never heard of the pop culture people.
Yes. You people.
And Cara.
Hello, I am Cara.
How you doing?
Doing great. Let's do it.
No, let's do this. I want you to tell us about the story you told me about an email. So you're the email gal.
With all the crisis
Busted.
meter woes we've had.
Oh no.
I need to hear this story.
Oh no.
I need to hear
It
this
doesn't
story.
end there.
You don't need to name names. You don't need to name names.
Let's hear it.
Okay,
No
well,
pressure.
Say it with your chest.
Apparently, it is a little annoying to watch people reload the money gun. So, what are we going to do about that?
What?
Brett, what are we going to do about that?
Can we
what are we
hire
gonna
slaves
do?
to reload the money guns for us?
Yeah, because we can't have them be empty because people don't like that either.
They don't like that. It
I
has
don't
to
think
work.
they're slaves if you hire them.
Interns. Sorry. The politically correct
there we
term
go.
for
Right,
slaves.
That is true. That is true, right? Like I was talking to somebody the other day. It's like when they talk about like how do we get away with like unpaid interns in this country? It's
Yeah,
like,
you pay them with experience.
yeah. It's like, that's like when they. That's like.
Don't worry. If you reload our money guns for us, we'll pay you an exposure.
Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
what it is. It's literally it's them saying like, oh, it would be great exposure for you,
Yeah.
right? It'd be great exposure.
It's like the volunteer hours, you know?
yeah. It's, so you know, we'll do our best. And
We've
my
gotten
hope.
customer service complaints.
Yep.
over
Yeah, I
it.
can't believe it. You know? What are we going to do?
Yeah, we'll work on it, and hopefully the crisis meter is fixed today. We'll know whenever the first super chat comes through. So we've got our fingers crossed that everything is working today. We got a bunch of stuff to discuss on that hand. We're going to talk about Hasan Minhaj, who is a comedian who's been caught red-handed fibbing in his stand-up routine about
More
acts
than
of
fibbing. It's pretty much just straight up lying about stuff that never happened to him to earn oppression points.
Well, you know me. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Oh yeah, the benefit of the doubt. It's his emotional truth.
Yes, well, we'll get into that. He talks about how it's, you know, the story might have been fake, and it certainly might have gotten somebody doxxed in death threats, but it was his emotional truth. So we're going to talk about that today. The Russell Brand story continues. He has been demonetized by YouTube. All of his stand-up shows have been paused. There's all sorts of stuff going on with him right now. Now I'm waiting to see if the super chat comes through. Did anything come through over there?
Nope.
There it goes. Okay. Then now we have to double
yeah.
check and make sure the crisis meter is
Yeah.
working.
All
yes,
is well.
All is well. So it looks like everything's working out so far today. So Russell Brand, his YouTube has been demonetized. He has had his stand-up shows paused. He's been dropped by his agents. All sorts of stuff going on. We got two more super chats with people checking to make sure that it's working. And these two
Guys,
came in
keep
the best.
checking.
Yeah, keep checking.
Double
Yes.
checking.
Just wanna make
Triple
sure.
checking.
We're going to need you to keep checking to
Very
make sure.
important.
Yes.
Exactly, guys. So we're going to talk about that. It's on my thing right there. We're going to talk about Madonna, who virtue signals very hard about this old Pepsi ad she did. She also showed us one of the creepiest. In fact, Mary, we're going to have to double check. Make sure that we have the creepy thirst trap video. I might need you to resend it to me.
Okay.
It's creepy. It's gross. It's Madonna. It's what it is in the year. She's no Dolly Parton. That's for sure. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, plastic surgery didn't do her kindly.
No, it helped Dolly Parton. It did not help Madonna. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about how if you're a guy and you watch Joe Rogan, you give women the ick. Gen Z women specifically. They're not fans. Men
Clarify.
Men not fan of communist women. Women not fan of stoner Joe Rogan men. So that's what we're going to get
fair.
into. Yeah,
You know?
well, we'll get into it. There's some charts. I know some other people have talked about this subject, but there's some graphs about the various things that give men and women the ick, and we're going to talk about it because it's a very interesting thing because Joe Rogan is tied kind of directly into pop culture and the media, and I kind of use Joe Rogan actually in a way as almost like a barrier of entry in a way where it's like you, if you're looking at people on the internet, if they follow like a Joe Rogan or a Jordan Peterson or a Theo Vaughn, they're like, fairly neutral, right?
This
like,
is what you did with Tiffany Gomez to
I might have.
see whether she was a suitable mate.
I might have done that. Like, I don't know, maybe. Like, she also followed Tim, which was a huge. That still doesn't make any sense to me because she's such a normie. Like, I don't believe for a second she knows who Tim is. Like, she doesn't.
She immediately knew
fascinating.
which online niche vacuum needed to be filled.
Yes, there is a $20 one there from Get123.
A comedian who said at the White House Correspondents' Dinner when Trump was president that he'd be tossed into some sort of camp lied about being oppressed? Nah. He did that?
That was some of the craziest discourse that was coming out of after 2016. They're like, they're going to round them up and throw them into camps.
What was that?
They were talking about that Trump was going to round up the LGBTQ population and throw them in camps, which was very
I
clearly
vaguely
not
remember
true.
that.
Wait,
well, there was-
what?
Ironically, there were camps later,
Yeah.
4 years later,
Yeah.
but not for LGBTQ people.
Yeah. So we're going to get into all that stuff, guys. Before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video? Would you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Remember, all Super Chats, $20 and over, now that we know that the crisis meter is in fact working, but you should keep Super Chatting to check to make sure that it's still working.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
those
Yeah,
$20 Super Chats and over, we will interrupt the discussion. We'll read your questions, comments, concerns, queries right then and there, and then we will do our level best to get back on topic. Also, share these videos with your friends and turn the notification bell on. That was what I was informed, is more people need to have the notification bell on so that they actually get those notices when a new episode goes live or new segments go out. Also, I have changed the release times for segments. If you've noticed, we have new thumbnails as well, but also segments are now coming out at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., and noon, which is when it says
Be
like
there.
Be there or be square, right?
Set an alarm.
We got a $20 one there from John Stewart.
My tithe for the Brett Lauren Date Night Fund.
Thank you for continuing to contribute.
Yeah, her and that guy aren't together anymore, apparently.
We're going to talk
We're
about
gonna
it
talk
in the
about-
intro.
yeah.
He's a Democrat.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's like,
Them.
yeah, I love the idea that the TMZ cameraman gets to go look for, like, where can I apply for that job? We'll get into it. So,
All right.
guys, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? Mary, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Kara, are you ready?
Ready.
Sarah?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, let's go ahead and get started then. So, first things first, I've got fantastic news for all the ladies who go to Hobby Lobby and Target. Hallmark movies will not be impacted by the writers and actors strike. They're like 40 movies ahead. They
had a backlog
They had a
ready.
backlog ready. Tons of movies coming out this year. So if you want to live, laugh, love the winter away, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine.
Brett, I really want you to watch the hockey-themed Christmas rom-com movie that they're putting out called Checkin' It Twice.
Oh my goodness.
Watch that and
review
give
it?
us a review.
And it can be titled like former hockey player reviews hockey romance movie.
Yeah. It's perfect.
So here's the thing, like when you make movies like this, like when you work for a company like Hallmark, you're making Christmas movies all year round. It's one of my favorite parts about like watching old, because the biggest thing that I find missing from network television shows, they don't really do great Christmas episodes anymore. And whenever you watch them, you're like, they totally filmed this in September. Like this,
Yeah.
like plus it's all filmed in California anyway, so it's like fake snows everywhere because fake snow looks better than real snow. On camera, and you're just like, wow, look at everybody pretending to love.
It's just
the
sawdust.
That's what it is, right? So it says the ongoing writers and actors strike has impacted television and movie productions. Hallmark anticipated this. I like the idea that they have spies inside the various organizations. It's a cutthroat business making romance movies. They're in a bitter battle right now with Great American Family.
I
From
did
Candace Cameron
notice
Bure.
that there was a gay couple in the trailer for their countdown to Christmas 2023. They looked very Pete Buttigieg. They looked very suburban and respectable.
And they are the transportation secretary of their city.
definitely it's there for a reason, right? That's why Great American Family branched off so that they wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. I don't have a problem with the Hallmark movies because Hallmark has always been good. Like I don't think I've ever seen a full one through, but I understand they're like Barbie. They know their target demographic.
Yep.
They make movies for their target demographic. They make movies for suburban women who drive enormous SUVs that they crash once or twice a year. And no,
Would you say that these movies pretty much always make their money back?
Yes. Oh yes, absolutely.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what most Hollywood films going to theaters are not able
Well,
to
and
do
that's the thing.
now.
They're not made for the theaters. They're made for the Hallmark
Yes.
channel. So they allow the Hallmark movie channel to keep its value.
But do you think that like other streaming movies that are going on Netflix or Amazon are making their money back? Like The Gray Man.
No, because they're spending insane amounts of money on them. They're not spending
Right.
insane amounts of money on the average Hallmark movie.
Yeah,
Small
actually,
budgets.
a lot of them are filmed together, I believe. Have you guys ever heard of the sister swap phenomenon? The
No.
Hallmark movie? Okay, so these are two different movies, but they're exactly the same. They have pretty much the same plot line, and they actually share 9 scenes with different edits to those scenes that favor whichever sister movie it is.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
Pick your own adventure.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I mean, that's eventually where we're going to go with AI. Eventually, you're going to be able to just make your own movie.
Honestly.
Like, you're going to be watching, like, think about, like, when you go to a movie theater and you got the, like, back in the day, you'd have to wear the glasses for 3D. Eventually, you're just going to go to the theater,
about that.
and instead of 3D,
VR.
the whole movie will be different, like, depending on what you choose. Like, those old Goosebumps books, the Choose Your Own
Yeah.
Adventure,
Yeah.
Fear Street books and stuff like that.
Was
So
it
it's like,
Bandersnatch?
and then the other thing is like, I think it's also the natural conclusion of like, we were talking about, they made a bunch of changes to Percy Jackson, to the new Percy Jackson that's coming out. And they're like, we did this so that everybody can see themselves in the movie, which of course.
So you mean they recast people?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Eventually, it will no longer be enough that the person that they recast is of the same race, gender, sexuality as you. Eventually, they'll just have to be you in the movie. So it will just be
That
done
would
in a way.
actually be so cool.
That's what-
Once
that's
we
what we're
do
going.
that
Not
with AI.
cool.
I would.
That would be scary.
I
That'd be
think
kind of cool.
I think that's where we end up. It's just like, they're just like, look, we can't get people to watch these movies anymore. Like, nobody cares. All the good movie stars are dead.
Right.
Like, eventually we are just in such a narcissistic society that you'll go to the theater. They're going to be like, please stand here while we scan your likeness.
Yeah.
And like a thing goes around like we are at an airport security line.
Yeah.
And then you go through and you get your glasses, like, or maybe it'll be like sponsored by Google. They'll finally have a purpose for the Google Glass. Remember those things? And you'll sit there in the movie theater and you and the guy next to you will each be watching the same movie, but maybe you both want to play the same character. Maybe you want to be the bad guy. Maybe
Yeah.
he wants to be the good guy. Maybe you both want to be the bad guy because you'll both be watching your own movie. And then and they'll be just doing it that way.
That's right.
I think it was Tim who tweeted out the other day.
Twim
that,
who
tweeted out. Twimmy. He tweeted that the movies will eventually be like everybody shows up and says, I want to watch a robot movie where they save the world in 7 days and there's a zombie apocalypse and blah, blah, blah. And it like the AI will generate that movie for you, which I would argue possibly is already happening because all these movies are exactly the same. It sounds like AI has been writing them already. Like there's not really an original plot line anymore. So I don't know how good that would be. I don't know how good of a movie AI could actually write that's like unpredictable and has depth and
Would it be a story you can make edits to?
interesting.
Could
I
you
am
make
kind of
edits to the AI stories? You know, they like lay out kind of the foundation for you, but then it's like, oh, we can tweak this here a little bit. Could that be like it?
I mean, that's like one of the things that I was reading more about the strike that's going on right now, because I posted a tweet earlier about writers who are complaining about 11 to 12 or
They're
10
getting offered $10,000 a week
to work
per
10
person.
weeks. Yeah, and because
work 10 weeks.
because they work in
Oh,
Los
can I
Angeles,
sign up?
that's like sub poverty in
never
LA.
mind.
But the point is like it's 10 weeks for $100,000 roughly.
Yeah.
But one of the things that was coming up in the negotiations is like the writers still want access to stuff like ChatGPT to tighten up their work, right? They still want to be able to use it, but they don't want the studios to be able to use artificial intelligence to be able to either for facial scanning or to do edits for films. They were talking about how recently a judge had ruled that it's not copyrightable for a studio to use an AI script. And then they're like, it doesn't matter. All they have to do is then give it to one writer who can touch it up
Yeah.
and it's immediately copyrightable because that guy did it. It doesn't matter if the original version isn't. They'll be the ones who created it. It won't be public. Nobody will know it exists except for the person they give it to. They'll hire one guy. He'll do like credited rewrites to the script. He'll get credit for it and they'll pay him for that. And then they'll have to pay him less because the AI did the brunt of the work to get it all started and
Would it
outlined.
not be plagiarism? Does the AI script not technically belong to anyone?
No, it doesn't. Like, it can't be copyrighted because it doesn't actually belong to a human being, right? So they'll just have the human do a couple of reads. Like, instead of Bob, we'll call him Dylan. Instead of a 6 foot tall
Paraphrase,
guy, he was
right.
6'6", and then they'll make changes.
Yeah.
And they'll make changes to certain parts because you would never release a movie without rewrites anyways.
Yeah.
The whole point is, like, that's one of the first things that I started noticing when we started going to the theaters. Like, you can tell when a movie needed like another go around on the dialogue. Sometimes the dialogue feels too simplistic. The language is too general, meaning like the characters, that human being would have more language designated to their personality, which is one of the things that I think is really a crime, is when all characters start to sound alike rather than having their own distinct personality traits or quirks. And they can do that pretty easily, and then they'll be fine. They'll be able to copyright that work and it won't matter. But Hallmark will be able to just, like, if there is anything in the world with enough examples for work, they're like, write a romance movie about a 6 foot tall logger who's recently widowed with a child, and they're like, we can do that because there's like 10,000 examples from these from studios like Hallmark of these types of movies, and they know their target demographic. These women will absolutely come back and watch this all the time. The men who want to continue to sleep with the women will sit through the movie with them, with their spouses, and plus then they don't have to go to the theater. The women get screwed. The women have to go to the theater to see the superhero movies with the guys. The guys just have to sit on the couch and watch the crappy
the Hallmark movies.
Exactly, right? It'll be funny. It'll be great to see. But Hallmark is going to be just fine. More than anything, more than any of these.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that's the good news in the world of love. The bad news is that Hugh Jackman is getting divorced after 27 years with the same lady.
Ah, that's why it's a
Wow.
big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering.
Are we Streisand affecting celebrity divorces, or is there actually a noticeable uptick in celebrity
We're
divorces this
Streisand.
year?
We're
I
just
think,
it's because we're
there's
doing it
always
for work.
been a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just focusing on it for work, so it's more noticeable. It was a big deal because
She's what, 13 years older than him?
12 or 13 years older than him, so people are like, this is the one that's going to last forever. And to be fair, 27 years is a good
Why
run.
would they assume someone's marriage would last longer simply because
I guess because
one...
it insinuates that
older.
it's for love and not for looks, or
Well, that's kind of insulting for her to hear, right? Like, I'm just an ugly old bag, so he must really love me. Like, that's not great
it's
for
like
someone to hear.
Isn't that the female analog to like when a woman marries a guy, like is with a guy before he gets wealthy? Like, she was the one who was by his side.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know
Like
about
McGregor's
the
wife.
but you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
right? Like
or
it's a lot easier to
Connor.
trust a guy, trust a girl if she supported you. Yes, Conor McGregor's wife.
Yeah.
That's a good example. And he's like he's got his own problems these days.
Yeah.
but didn't they start dating when he was already famous?
No, he was not. She had to work to support him.
Yeah,
right?
she was the one supporting both of them for a while until he
Oh,
started
dang.
like.
So it's a
really
lot
getting
easier for a
successful.
guy to trust a woman who he knows was there before he got famous. That's a good thing.
But they're getting divorced, and they say it's not a snap decision.
There's a $20 one there from Gavatron, Mary.
It says at least Hugh Jackman can be gay now. Wait, what? Is he gay?
There's long been those rumors. I can't say.
Oh, well, that would make it all make sense, wouldn't it? He doesn't really care if his wife is attractive.
They
He's just using her
can't
as a
tell.
beard anyway.
they have two children that the children are adopted.
Okay, maybe. I mean, she was already menopausal when they got together.
Yeah.
Was she actually?
Yeah. Oh,
No.
was she not?
No,
You said that
no.
he was in his late
They were together
20s
for
and she
30
was in her
years.
40s. Was she not?
She would have been.
She would have been in her late 30s or early 40s. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
67.
She might
It
have-
was hard
She's
back then,
67.
too.
I mean, if you're in
Yeah.
your early 40s, it's not exactly easy to
Yeah.
get pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially 27 years ago.
Perimenopause.
Yeah.
So them
She's
adopting,
67,
that
so
makes some
she's been
sense.
30. Yeah.
If it's 27
She's
years,
67, so
30?
she would have been 40.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah,
40.
when they got married.
Math.
So
That
they
makes
they
sense.
adopted the
Yeah.
kids and stuff like that. It's very sad for him.
That's unfortunate.
Well-
So it doesn't sound like your typical like Hollywood marriage. You know, those
It's like
that
Pierce
last a month and
It's
then
like
they
Pierce
divorce.
Brosnan, who's been married to the same woman for years and years and years,
Yeah.
who was very, very attractive
If
when they
he
were
gets
younger, and she's now
divorced.
not.
Oh, yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm talking- yeah. I think I saw somebody. I think Shimmy Shelley in the chat mentioned it. Yeah. They mentioned that Pierce Brosnan clearly married for love. That is like the backhand. That is a backhand.
horrible.
Wow, you clearly married
Like,
for
what
love.
makes you say that?
I I feel
when we see women date broke guys, we don't think you're really in it for love, do we?
no, yeah, I think.
I think they're in it for like,
Thank you, guys.
I can fix him.
Okay.
I guess it would really hurt people's faith in humanity if Pierce Brosnan got
Thank you, guys.
Well, I think that because when someone does have fame and money, there's always that question of, does she actually love me for me? So when there's the absence of that, then it's like more likely like she actually likes this person.
Yeah, and then it's like, what's the dating show where like you don't get to see him before you?
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind, you know?
No, you can tell immediately when they do the like big moment where you get to see each other for the first time and you get engaged at the same time.
Show's a trip, dude.
You know whether it's going to work out in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah, that 7-second impression, right?
Look, I will always know that if I end up tricking a girl into marrying me, she's marrying me for me.
If you trick her into
If I can eventually hoodwink.
Imagine like a crappy like rabbit trap,
Yeah.
and you like are luring the
It's like a chapel above the rabbit
You're like
trap. Yeah.
twisting your mustache.
Like the idea is like, look, if you're short, you don't have a lot of money, they're definitely marrying you for you. So if somebody marries me, they're marrying me because they think I'm a fantastic
just awesome.
person. Yeah,
That's beautiful.
You're good at skating.
It's definitely not for money, and it's
That's
definitely
what
not for
marriage is
looks.
supposed to be
It's not for
for.
height, so it'll be fantastic.
But Aaron Taylor Johnson and his marriage, that's a bigger age gap. That's like 20 something years.
Is it 20?
That's over a couple decades. Might be like 25 years between them.
I think my favorite
That's
part about
super
that is
weird.
my
That's
favorite-
weird.
That is weird. That is like a big age gap.
How do you guys
What do you
feel-
have in common?
How do you guys feel about because everyone talks about, we recently covered Chris Evans and Alba, what's her name?
Jessica Alba?
No, Baptista.
Alba Baptista.
Okay.
Yes,
I
the girl from
I hear
Warrior
that
Nun.
as Jessica Alba and the wrestler Batista, and that's
No.
the same thing.
No.
And we talked about that because they have like a 12-year age gap or something like that.
Look, it's
And
normal
they're
when the
he's a
guy is older. I'm just saying it's not normal when you reverse it.
She's 23
There's
years
something
older
about
than
that.
him. Yeah.
There's something
It's just
about that.
you just know.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Is
'cause
it? Is it weird when the guy is the younger one?
Absolutely. I think
Yeah.
because women are already so much more emotionally mature than men. So to have like
Press X to doubt.
Oh, Brett didn't like that.
don't like it.
Ruh-roh. You're the
Well,
exception,
We're
Brett.
not
It's
here to make you feel
conventionally
better.
believed
Yes.
that
Some have
Well,
argued.
society's been wrong about shit for a long time. Why shouldn't they be wrong about this one, ladies and gentlemen?
it's
no,
true
I get
in
what you're
high
saying.
school.
I get what you're saying.
I
Like,
think it's true in high school. But after that, everyone needs to catch up.
Right. The guys need to hurry up.
But
No.
like so it's, you think it's different, but I think also we have a society now like that puts a lot of emphasis on the idea of women being liberated sexually after their first divorce, because that's how they talk about it now. They don't even talk about divorce. They say first divorce. You're just expected to get divorced now, and then the woman will find her sexual
right.
identity and liberation in her second marriage, and that has led to a lot of push for like, that's where the term cougar comes from, right? They look for younger men, and in that case, they do push the idea that she's more mature and knows exactly what he wants. He's just horny and wants to bang. So society's actually pushed that on people a lot, especially in the media lately. So I mean, there might be something to it. I'm still pressing X to doubt on the whole women are more mature than men thing. But
How
maybe.
can you not believe that?
I think when they're younger, like high school and college aged, that's probably the case. Most of the time.
Chat. What do you guys think?
But
Are
after
the
that-
ladies right? Are the ladies
good
right on
question.
this one? You think one of them would have been president
I mean,
by now?
how old
Ah,
was he
well,
when they got married?
patriarchy.
He was like in his late 20s, right? And she was like in her late 40s.
Yeah.
So
Or
I
no,
mean-
her
or her mid
Early 40s.
Early 40s. So like just in general, I think a 40-year-old is more emotionally mature and has way more life experience than your average 28-year-old man. But then it's like, is it a double standard? I think it might just be.
I think it's weird for a guy in his 20s to be attracted to a menopausal woman. That's weird.
It does seem
It's-
unnatural.
It seems unnatural.
Against
Right.
biology, you would think, yeah. There is probably a
But
mommy
not
complex.
that there aren't really good-looking women that are that age.
Of course.
It's just
that
also like
shouldn't be a
when
natural
you're
attraction.
obviously he's an actor, he has access to a lot of women, so it's kind of more odd. Like he must really love her. Let's put
Yeah.
it that way.
I'd be so insulted if I were her and I were
I'm sorry, she must be really great.
or read that
Good for
somewhere.
her.
I'm sure she's gotten so many comments like that.
Like,
I'm
wow,
sure.
you must be a really great person.
Yeah, she
Maybe
must be
that's
hilarious.
what drove them apart, is like constantly hearing about that aspect of their relationship.
Did they get divorced?
Yeah, they are now.
Oh, they are now.
They're,
I was talking about.
Are you talking about Aaron Taylor Johnson?
No, they're still
No,
together.
they're still
That-
together.
that- that-
Okay.
Okay, and people don't even know the
She
funnier
casting
part of that.
couched him.
Yeah,
She
no,
had
that was
him-
what I was talking about. That's
That's-
a big age gap.
She had him come for an audition at her house.
That's so wrong.
Read scripts.
Go
at my
ahead,
house.
guys.
He got
Go
Megan
ahead,
Fox.
men. Do
And
that today. I
He
dare
was
you.
what,
do the
18
math.
or 19 when that happened.
He was a child.
He
got
She
Megan
was-
Fox.
He was a 19-year-old child.
It's no, but it's weird. Is it not?
It
is that
weird.
not
Because
incredibly
if
weird?
He was that age. She would have been.
I'll tell you this: if women are more mature than men, men are expected
43-ish?
to take responsibility for their sexuality far earlier now than women are. Women make them. Now the women just say, "I made a mistake in my 20s. I slept with Russell Brand when I was 23, and now I'm taking it back."
I regret it.
Yes,
Me too.
Trash. It's so trash. Just lay in the bed you made.
Yeah,
God,
so I'm
get
just
over
saying,
it.
like maybe the idea is that for somebody like Aaron Taylor Johnson, it's okay because we understand that men are different from women, and Phil has made this point too when he talks about like, look, when a man is in this, he always uses the examples like of teachers, like female teachers and male students. There's
Gosh, we're getting into this.
the chance of the chance of a guy being attacked by a woman violently is almost non-existent in those cases, whereas the woman will always run the risk of being attacked in a
have
situation like that. Yep.
A $20 one from Ryan the Eating Warrior. If women were mature, they wouldn't divorce so quick for not being happy. Just saying.
Oh, it's a huge conversation. It's a
Yeah,
big.
that is a
This is a
huge-
5-hour
Welcome to
conversation.
No Fault Divorce Culture
could talk
Crisis.
if you want to talk
Let's
about that.
go ahead. Let's move on, ladies and gentlemen.
5
Speaking
hours.
of bad dating decisions, Pete
Speaking of
Davidson-
age gaps as well, Pete Davidson reportedly wants to hook up with Britney Spears. Wow, doesn't even want to take her on a date.
maybe
today.
she knows what's going on with
go
9/11.
straight.
But friends fear the troubled
ex
twosome
is
would be
person.
toxic.
Yeah. Maybe she knows the secret about 9/11. She's got the proof that Bush planned it all.
Her ex might.
and she needs
Yeah,
to get into her house to get evidence out of her safe.
He's getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
Oh, does anybody want to explain this to like the Pete Davidson 9/11 thing?
I don't know much about it. Did you? Did
His
you
dad died in 9/11,
Yeah.
so I guess he's just
Been
he
on a
has a
hunt.
revenge plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Britney Spears' ex-husband.
She knows what happened.
He's getting closer and closer.
Getting closer. Yeah.
Wait, Britney Spears' ex-husband what?
So
He
what's
was
his
from the Middle
nationality?
East,
Middle
and
East,
I can
yeah.
say that because
Okay.
He heard the last name is
Eastern.
Gari and his xenophobia came out.
He was from the Middle East, therefore.
it wasn't inside.
Just
no.
It's really
Okay.
It's really funny. I was watching old episodes of the show Bones the other night, and there's a character named Aristu Vaziri who's Iranian,
Cool.
and he speaks with an accent in the first season. I think the actor Pej Vedette got sick of having to do it because it does sound insulting and ridiculous. It's over the top as it always
Yeah,
was
yeah,
back
yeah.
then. So they in season 2 he gets flustered and like they find out he's been faking his accent the whole time, and there's like a whole side plot in this episode like what kind of person would, and they actually tie it back to his religion, where basically the idea is that like as he's in the show, he's a devout Muslim who prays 5 times a day, and that he uses the accent because he doesn't want to have to explain to bourgeois Western scientists why he's religious, and somebody who's got an accent who sounds like he's fresh off the boat from Iran,
I
they'll
see.
leave him alone because he's clutching, he's
Do you
holding
think
tight
that was
to his.
written in because he got tired of doing the
Yeah,
accent?
I think he got tired. I think he
That's
just
fun.
didn't want to do that. No, that's clever writing actually, because
Yeah,
they made
it
a good
is.
side plot out of it. So maybe that's the storyline that will get Sam Asghari
This
to
is
go
like,
and.
okay, so if a girl said this about, like, this is so toxic to say. If that's really what he actually said, that's like preying on someone who's going through one of their worst times.
He wants to
Yeah.
hook up with her. Well, I think
Rebounding.
that they're both pretty unstable. He just got out of rehab in June, and he has BPD and PTSD. I bet Brittany has the same or similar. So maybe I thought, like, if 2 people with BPD get together, maybe it cancels out.
Borderline or bipolar?
Borderline.
Oh, okay.
Pete Davidson famously has borderline
No
personality
I
disorder.
do like
yeah.
the idea
Fascinating.
that like they both just run into each other and it just cancels out and they become normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
That is
She
fascinating.
likes younger guys too.
Yep, clearly.
He's and here's the thing: people like Pete Davidson and these celebrities who tell you how to live your life. Just remember that he recently had an article. He's like, "I've been microdosing ketamine for the last 4 years." I'm like, "Well, you sound like a reasonable
But
person."
he says that
He does
he
not helping.
well.
Yeah,
he
does not look
microdoses
well.
ketamine to treat his depression. He
Yeah.
says. I thought that had reputable evidence.
I mean, there's also a lot of it going on with like psilocybin and stuff
For
right
sure.
now
Yeah.
for depression and stuff
pretty
like
But
that.
incredible.
he's not really getting better.
No.
So
That's the problem.
He
and
did
does
run into
not
that
look-
house earlier this year. He did drive into that house.
He also destroyed
Yeah.
his trailer on the set of his show. What is it
King
called?
of Staten Island.
It's not that
It was
one.
a
It's
movie.
called whatever. It's called something else. But he like destroyed his trailer and like cracked a TV in half and like threw hot coffee everywhere.
How does he still get work? He's not. I mean,
He's difficult
that
to work
funny.
with. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind
He's
of
not a
funny,
stable
sure,
person.
but very
He's got
difficult to
strong
work
name
with.
recognition.
Yeah.
I
That's pretty
guess.
much it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, or
Because of the
he's an
Kardashians?
implant.
I don't even think he's
a
that
spy.
funny.
There is a $20
that
one
funny.
there from Gordon Shumway.
Sorry, it hasn't popped up for me. How can you say that a society that promotes women not being accountable for anything while forcing men to be accountable for everything end up with women that are more mature? It's the logical conclusion.
Ask
Those are
society,
two-
man. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I'm just telling. They're just telling you what society has
I don't
said.
think that you should ever think in such extremes.
Yeah,
either.
never.
I don't think it helps you. Although I'm not saying that there isn't truth to that statement, and generally, yes, that could be true. I think it's like fighting against a wall to even have a conversation where we start with absolute truths
For sure.
being
Dead on.
Beautifully put.
Thank you.
I would
Beautifully
say.
put. All right.
try.
So Lauren Boebert was seen going to the
Yay.
airport. I like
Let
how
her live.
she's turned into her own type of like pop culture darling.
she's like the-
she's on TMZ.
She's like Tiffany
TMZ
Gomez.
seems to like her.
They do. She's brash. She speaks her mind. She's
cute.
easy on the eyes,
yep.
and they like the fact that she does debaucherous things because Hollywood likes it when you act degenerate.
So they found her at an airport in DC.
Yep.
Wanna watch the interview?
Yeah, let's watch
She
the
looks
interview.
great for being at an airport.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, I would never look
Never
that good
trust a
off
woman who
the plane.
dresses up to go to the airport.
Or the grocery
You know,
store.
been a rough week, or has it been?
It's always hard whenever there's gravity put on the voters. I'm here to provide levity and lift burdens off of people. So anytime that they're carrying mine, it's something that kind of feel deep inside. But ultimately, all future date nights have been canceled, and I learned to check party affiliations before you go on a date.
Okay, I got a problem with that. You shouldn't have to do that.
She doesn't want to date.
My favorite comment
Democrats.
was like there was the picture of her like basically like jerking the offices. It says I love it when politicians reach across the
Okay,
aisle.
she didn't do that. It didn't go that far.
But that's how the media was framing it.
Right.
The media was framing it as like Lauren Boebert, who was giving her Democrat boyfriend a hand job at the
that
movie
did not
theater.
happen.
But all in all, it was mostly a lovely time, and I've taken responsibility for my actions. Would love to know how the musical ended, and I encourage people to go and see it. But it was a great time back in the district, seeing voters and.
So how are the voters taking it? How are the voters taking it right now? Are they understanding at this moment?
Yeah, there's a lot of folks who are certainly understanding, and they understand that it was a part of my personal life, my private time, something that I rarely indulge in, and yeah.
And when you say affiliation, as far as knowing not to date the opposite
Well,
side,
TMZ, I'm pretty sure you told the world I went on a date with a Democrat.
so when it comes like that, when those times when it
No, he's a wonderful man, and it was a great time to go out and have dinner, enjoy part of
Yes.
the show, and now it's back to work.
There was definitely some drinks involved. That's
And
for sure.
focusing on
so
taking care of
is
my
that date life?
people.
Is that over with him because of? Some people say because he had a drag bar or his
Yeah,
bar
no,
did that or
nothing
anything?
to do with anything anybody reported, but
Okay.
honestly, he's a private citizen, and
Respect that.
you know, we
Cameraman
peacefully
seems to like
parted
her.
at this time. Great man.
So did the
great
police
friend,
behind her.
And I wish him all the best.
Okay, so what's next for you?
What's next for me, man?
What's next for
We
you?
got a spending battle. We got all sorts of stuff going on. We got impeachment underway. I don't know how long we're going to be here. 1 week, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I don't know. So I've told my boys to, you know, wait for mom, and maybe if it's too long, I'll bring them out here and we'll enjoy DC together.
They were certainly waiting up
She's
the other
nearby.
night.
Yeah,
What was with the cameo for the cop on the Segway?
That was hilarious.
He wanted to be in the video.
It was like that gorilla video where you see the gorilla in the back when you're passing.
Here's the thing. So she's not out of this scot-free. She has been removed from an event panel of the Texas Youth Summit has removed her as a speaker. I guess, you know, the behavior was not acceptable to those at the Texas Youth Summit. They're like, look, we don't care what you do in the
There
movie
have
theater.
been
but
worse politician sex
Right.
scandals.
Oh yeah, I just said if you ever want to look up, like, if you're ever just curious, just look up politician hooker and you'll get endless examples of bad behavior. But I do believe that this is truly a sign that things are healing. Look, it's not a male thing to be a degenerate to be a degenerate in public. It's not a female thing to be a
It's a Democrat thing.
It's a political thing to be a degenerate in public. It knows no party to act out. And this is why I'm glad that I don't care about party politics, because I can laugh at both. I can laugh at this, and I can laugh at the lady with the porn profile that she was soliciting dips from. It's all funny. The empire's crumbling. If you think about the Roman Empire, we're in the middle of its collapse right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let us laugh.
Brett, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Not very often. In the
because you just brought it up.
in the context of
Right.
that in the last couple of years it's become heavily compared to like that America's falling.
I was just wondering because it's a trend to ask men how often they think about the Roman Empire.
Yep.
And it's like supposed to be funny, like, oh, they all think about
Like
the Roman
every day.
Empire like all the time.
Yeah.
But, like,
also, guy. Oh,
Apparently you disproved that.
Yeah.
I don't think about it all the
debunked.
time. It does come up more because, like I said, it's a common conversation now to say that America's in its twilight years.
But you don't just sit around
think-
daydreaming about
What it was
the Roman
like.
Empire. Okay.
no.
Just checking.
Ottoman Empire, sure, but
Oh,
no,
okay.
not really. I'm making that up. All right. Oh, also, guys, her husband's saying that it's his fault.
That was crazy. I didn't read the letter, but he's basically saying like,
He
please
cheated
come
on her.
back. I'll do anything.
Really?
Well, yeah, he cheated on her apparently. and
Really,
so
like
that's-
the reason this scandal happened in the first place is because he cheated on her, and that was the end of their marriage.
How you gonna do that, bro? She's like the fast draw holster stays on during sex, and that was the last straw for him. It's like, that's too much. I'm sorry. All right, guys. Oh, and speaking of more, okay, El Chapo's wife has just been out partying.
Love it.
She just got out of prison. She's
like,
living her best
Go, girl.
life.
I had no idea he was running a drug empire. By the way, he's apparently only 5'6". He's a short king apparently. Short king of the coke trade over
That
there in
makes
Mexico.
sense.
Yeah. The I was reading.
I mean, that's a pretty normal height.
He's got to
in
be able to
Mexico,
fit
but-
through like.
I mean, I don't think
tunnels.
if you want to be a drug kingpin and you have to have bodies on you, I don't think that is normal. I
Look
think
at other warlords in history. Napoleon,
Yeah.
for one.
he was. They were saying like, because I was just reading, I was just curious about how they met or like what his trajectory was because I never watched any of the documentaries. So I was reading about him. They were saying like, yeah, he would just like if drug runners would show up late, he'd just shoot him in the head.
Oh my god.
So he was not a good person.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
Sinaloa cartel has done a lot of damage to this country and others. But who cares? She's out partying in LA
free.
apparently. She's like, look, I had no idea he was dealing drugs. That's crazy.
I didn't know.
Yeah. I didn't know that is such a thing.
I just thought he was drop shipping.
Wait, he signed up for Hustlers University. I thought he got.
I thought he
rich.
was a trust fund kid.
Yeah, exactly right.
So funny.
There are so many excuses.
But yeah, so that was crazy to me.
How
She's
tall is she?
I don't know how tall
she's
she
got to
is.
be really short.
Yep.
She's
didn't
looking
look very
down
tall.
at the camera. It looks like.
Emma Coronel is her name. I'm probably butchering that
What a
pronunciation.
queen.
Yeah. It says she was out on Friday with a posse, dropping into a club down in Linwood for a while for live music. They hit up an event centered, and then they talk about. I guess she's a singer, and her lawyer's a singer. Everyone's a singer.
Okay.
They probably all listen to Selena too. Selena
Probably.
rules.
Selena.
Selena rules.
R.I.P.
All right. What would you ladies like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
What do you say?
Let's start with cringe. I think the last few times we started with cute.
Okay, let's start with
All right, we got one here for today. Mary sent me this one. Let's go ahead and watch this here.
De-influencing viral trends of 2023. Link in bio for my favorite Celsius flavors. Check out my Amazon storefront. Dupe. Get ready with me. Rare beauty. Check out my Amazon storefront. Get ready with me. Get ready with me.
Oh my
Get ready
God.
with me. Get ready. Alex Earl. Alex Earl. Alex.
Someone in here?
Slay.
Oh my god.
I did not
I
hate
love that
that.
it's her boyfriend filming. There's something really wholesome and cute about it.
Somebody
hear
Get ready with me.
at least she's not. At least she's advertising an Amazon storefront and not an Amazon wish list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's got that going for her.
Yeah.
Standards.
She's got that going
Little
for
more
her. She's not
respectable,
expecting
more hard
the
work.
Mary also sent this. Do you want to show this one?
Oh, yeah, this was just kind of unnerving.
Oh, it's kind of long. Well, I don't want to watch a full minute of it. It's just the room, right?
Go for go.
Tour of my room, part 5 or 6, I believe. Let's quickly recap. This is my keyboard wall, my other keyboard wall. This is my ocean-themed bedroom area.
If she made that herself, that's impressive.
But why?
I have my
It looks
horoscopes
bad.
on right now, so it's kind of giving Mojo Dojo Casa House. Also, that's my cat Stevie.
Hi, Stevie.
This is my office area with my worm wall. All right, and then this is my picture frame collection.
Oh no.
Imagine the guys come over and they're like, not the worm wall. I don't want to look at the worm
The
wall.
nail clipper picture collection?
What the
Yes.
She's like,
Yes. And it gets worse.
All
This is
pictures
the house
nail
of a murderer.
clippers. It's Walter White.
Oh.
And it's to match my calendar.
Dude.
And then this is my carousel nail clipper music box. That
I wouldn't be
opens and
friends with this
closes
girl,
and
I'm
is
sorry.
Full of nail clippers. And then this is my inside dirt. It's just dirt that I have inside to play with. And then in the middle of it, I have this candy machine that I thrifted. I didn't want to fill it with candy, so I filled it with a bunch
well,
of
that would be crazy.
That would be.
tiny images
That would be
of
weird.
Jimmy Neutron's dad.
That's
Jimmy
kind of cool. I
Neutron.
like
This
that. I
is
would
this is
stay for
Aubrey
that.
Plaza LOL so random humor
It
from
is.
2005
It
or from
is.
2007.
Yeah.
But this is her actual room.
Oh my god,
That's
it's
what's
so
more
random.
disturbing.
I mean, trying
Like
yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
I couldn't live in
So you can
peace
collect
in
them.
this.
The
And
creepy
then, if you
music,
wanna
the nail
play in the
clippers, the dirt.
What's with the
Wait till you see
pile
what's
of
at the bottom
fashion.
of the dirt.
I'm scared. I'm so scared.
The bottom is completely custom lined with images of Jimmy Neutron's dad to match.
This is why millennials won't ever own houses.
Clear out the whole thing. But
That's
there's
the
one
last thing you
spot.
see before
But yeah,
you die.
Those are some of the hues, aka Jimmy Neutron's dad.
Women will do stuff like this and then wonder why we put limitations on their sovereignty for the entirety of human history.
It's true.
I just don't understand what all the kid stuff is for. Like there's a problem here, you know. I don't need to see all your kid stuff. Like there's something
Okay.
weird happening.
Yeah.
I've got some
I- you
palate
know-
cleansers. I've got some palate
Okay,
cleansers
good.
here, ladies and
Let's look.
gentlemen.
I feel
Let's
like
go.
you're- Yeah.
This is from Andrew Jacobs. He says, "Here's my brother's now deceased cat Garfield."
R.I.P. Garfield.
I hope that you're eating lasagna in the sky.
Yeah, and all the cake.
This is from Cleggy on Twitter. On X. He says, "Meet Daisy, our now 3-month-old corgi."
I love it. I love
my
it.
Gosh.
Oh my goodness.
My gosh.
No corgi butt photos.
Yeah. What?
Oh yeah,
People
you're
are like
jipping us.
obsessed with corgi butts.
Tease.
And one more here. This is from Beer and Gear on X. It says, "This is Pima."
I don't know.
Who lives up to the name? I'm not getting the reference. I'm sure I'm missing something there. She's a good girl regardless. Always check acronyms before naming your animals.
Wait, what is the acronym?
I don't know.
Now I'm scared.
But it's really funny too because does anybody here have any like initials that spell out something? Anybody?
No.
No.
Do yours?
Mine spell bad. But I'm sure that was
bad
completely on purpose, right? So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and now that we are 45 minutes into the show, let's get started. Mary, so soon. Yeah. Mary, tell us what's going on with Hassan Minaj.
Hassan Minaj is a so-called comedian that just got exposed as a BS artist. And I love when people get their comeuppance for telling expedient lies. Basically, he hosted the Patriot Act, which is a comedy news show, so-called comedy news show. It's mostly for Clapter, a la Trevor Noah, and he's in line to succeed Trevor Noah, who's stepping down from The Daily Show. And The New Yorker just did a piece on him and how he has fabricated multiple stories about being oppressed and discriminated against for his stand-up bits. This says his stand-up leans heavily on his own experience as an Asian American and Muslim American, telling harrowing stories of law enforcement entrapment and personal threats. Hassan Minhaj has now acknowledged...
Sounds hilarious, guys.
Yeah, sounds like a laugh, just a
That's
bucket of
a hoot and a holler.
A hoot and a holler. He has now acknowledged for the first time that many of these anecdotes he related in his Netflix specials were untrue. But his argument here is that even though all these stories didn't really happen to him, the important part is that it was his emotional truth. We'll get into that.
I'd shared with Mary this quote from AOC that
it's reminiscent of that.
Everybody was going wild about several years ago, and she said more people are concerned about being factually correct than morally right, and that's when you should have known that she was evil.
Yep. So he said, every story in my style is built around a seed of truth. My comedy is 70% emotional truth. This happened. And then 30% hyperbole, exaggeration, fiction. That sounds like 100% lies to me.
Yep.
That sounds like 70% lies and 30% lies.
I mean, it's weird. It's weird postmodernism.
Yeah.
It's Marxist postmodernism. Hey, what could be funnier, ladies and gentlemen? That's just a hoot and a holler. Like I said, I'm going to say that like 10 times. That's a hoot and a holler.
So
it's his truth.
Hoax number 1. He claims that an FBI informant infiltrated his mosque when he was growing up in Sacramento in 2002, right after 9/11. He claims the informant would make comments to young guys at the mosque about jihad. And when he led this informant on and made jokes about, like, I want to get my pilot's license, he ended up getting pinned to the hood of a car by police officers. This is not true. They tracked down the real guy. And yeah, he is an FBI informant, but he didn't work for the FBI until 2006. And he says he has no idea why Hassan Minhaj would make this up. He also never even worked in Sacramento. It's just all fake.
Why would someone make up a story like this in regards to receiving fame and fortune in a highly liberal Hollywood that was looking
where victimhood is currency.
When people, especially anti-American victimhood, that was looking to make America look bad. Why would somebody fake such a thing? That is a conundrum.
Yeah, sounds like a comedian.
Too obvious to be true.
Hoax number 2. Hassan claims that he received threats for his comedy. He put tweets up behind him on a projector during his special, which he now admits were not real tweets. They were all fake death threats.
Well, they should have hired Russell. The lady accusing Russell Brand should have hired him. To make the fake one.
He claims that a letter was sent to his home, which was filled with white powder. The contents accidentally spilled onto his young daughter. The child was rushed to the hospital, and his wife, pregnant at the time, threatened to leave him if his comedy and his controversy put their family in danger again. This is also not true. He admitted to the New Yorker, his daughter has never been exposed to any white powder. She was never hospitalized. He did open a letter that he received at his apartment that contained some sort of powder. Still sounds like a lie to me. But he made a joke to his wife, like, oh, what if this was anthrax? That was the extent of what happened.
And you can, like, the sad thing is, like, if you're hungry enough for fame, you can, like, trick your brain into like he's like he said it in his head enough times that he believes it. It's like at that point
he would pass a polygraph test at this point.
Now the real question I want to know is, did the wife actually give him that ultimatum? Like, was she really not his ride or die? I need to know.
His long joke is basically that his comedy has put his family through a lot, and maybe that's the emotional truth that he was pointing to with that fake story.
What a brave hero, being a comedian in this day and age.
It's so hard to be a leftist comedian who moralizes instead of making jokes. And then hoax number 3, I think this might be the worst one. Hassan claims that he was rejected by his prom date in high school because of his race. He says that his friend's parents didn't want their daughter to take pictures with a brown boy because they were concerned about what their relatives might think. Quote, I'd eaten off their plates, I'd kissed their daughter. I didn't know that people could be bigoted even as they were smiling at you. And now the woman in question says this was totally made up.
All of it.
And as a result, she and her family have faced online threats and doxing for years because he insufficiently disguised her identity, including the fact that she is now engaged to an Indian man.
And there's a comment. There's
racist. It's not really adding up. It's not really adding
There's
up.
a comment here I want to
isn't
address.
mathing.
What is it?
CT223 says, as much as I find Hassan insufferable and not funny, stand-up isn't supposed to be true stories. If it was told in the name of stand-up, it's free game. That may be true, but it depends on how. There was also there's a couple of other stories I'm going to reference here. But like, look, if this lady then has to deal with people coming after her, then he should have, if it is fake and it was licensed to be humorous in the name but not real, he should have done everything in his power to make sure that she doesn't get doxxed.
And what was the joke? He was like, so someone sent me anthrax, and then the anthrax got on the kid.
How
does that joke go?
But do you guys remember the story that Bobby Lee told on his podcast about like getting with like a Tijuana hooker who looked 12?
Oh yeah, I remember.
And then
that.
and then later he's like, "Ha! It was a joke, guys. That didn't actually happen."
But it's like that was a podcast, not a stand-up special.
But I'm saying,
But
he's trying to use the same. He's trying to use the. He's using the same logic,
But also
right?
in interviews, outside of his special, when he was asked about things that he talked about in his special, he still referred to them as if they were factual events. Like you are intentionally leading people to believe that it happened. His justification. The emotional truth of the story he told on stage was resonant and justified fabrication of details. Quote, there are so many other kids who have had a similar sort of doorstep experience.
I mean, like, look, this is one of those. This is a hard discussion to have because for a lot of people, comedy is sacrosanct, and it should be something that should be known. It's like, look, when you start putting limitations on what people can make jokes about, but what you're talking about has nothing to do with the content of the stand-up. It's about the way the lines are blurred between what was referenced as true and what isn't when it's such a hot button issue and is so divisive in the culture.
Yeah,
right?
it's stealing other people's victimhood and making money off of it.
Yeah, making content out of it.
It's pretty heinous. Like,
And like when I go see a stand-up comedian, like when I see stand-up comedians tell jokes, a lot of times like I'm like, look, this story sound like it feels embellished, and you can tell, right? But
Of course.
and that's expected.
Like, Ryan Long, do you ever like listen to his comedy? Clearly all of the stuff that he says is not true, and he says really controversial, messed up stuff, but he's not milking this victim identity to gain a following.
There's not a social
instead of just being
cachet
funny.
to the embellished stories. So it's not the same moral category, I think.
Right.
And he insists that even though these stories were made up, they're based on emotional truth, and the broader points he was trying to make justifies concocting stories in which to deliver them. The punchline is worth the fictionalized premise. And when asked if he manipulates his audience, he said, no, I don't think I'm manipulating. I think they're coming for the emotional roller coaster ride. To the people that are like, yo, that is way too crazy to happen, I don't care because F yes, that's the point. It's grounded in truth. What I'm ultimately trying to do is highlight all those stories, building to what I think is a pointed argument. This is where Hasan Minhaj loses what the point of comedy is altogether. It's not to make an argument, right? It's not to further your social justice narrative and make policy points. He's doing this to make arguments when he should be trying to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Right.
He's missing the point of comedy entirely. And they're only laughing because it's out of a social obligation because his entire audience is leftist.
And his approach to comedy, we can sit here and argue about whether that's the right approach, but there's plenty of people who are taking this exact same approach to the real world, which is far more egregious, where it's not creative,
Yes.
it's not comedy, it's not for levity, it's for social cachet, like you said, and victim points, and that type of thing, like in AOC saying people are overly concerned about getting the facts right when they should be concerned about whether they're morally in the right here. That
As
type
if those
of
two things are opposed.
yes, that type of gray logic is bad for society in a lot of ways, and it proves just how difficult it is to bring people together when you choose those types of topics as your humor, I guess.
It's very like 2 + 2 = 5.
Yeah,
kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it George or somebody Lopez?
George Lopez?
Yeah, was he the one that stole all of the comedians' content?
He's been.
Was it George Lopez?
Yeah.
Is he a joke stealer?
He's a joke stealer.
I think I saw
yeah.
somebody in the chat mention that.
There are
too,
a lot
that
of joke stealers. Hasn't Amy Schumer also been accused of
I've heard of that.
joke
yeah.
stealing?
But I think it's worse to almost steal other people's life experiences and making jokes out of them because that didn't really
Right.
happen to him.
He's not making up the stories entirely. He's like basing it on either a real person or a
Right.
real news story that happened to somebody else.
Yeah, it's terrible. I don't know.
Therefore, implicating them as well.
Yeah. But I feel real bad for the girl who had to go through like the death threats and stuff for like nothing. She's
Yeah.
like, look, I wasn't even dating you. We didn't even go to prom together.
He's like, worth
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, he said
That's why it's
She turned him down.
when
That's
she confronted Hassan about the online threats brought on by his Netflix special, he shrugged off her concerns. And
He's
he
like, you're a
also-
white woman. What do
Yeah.
you got to
No,
worry
exactly,
about? Yeah.
exactly. It's like you benefit from systemic racism, so it's okay if
Oh,
I
Carlos Mencia.
sick my audience on
Mencia?
you.
Carlos
thank
Mencia.
you. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you guys.
Yeah, not George Lopez.
Okay, we won't speak on George Lopez.
Sorry about that, guys.
I was
I'm so glad somebody knows what I'm talking about.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you guys. Poor.
And thanks for correcting me.
Yeah.
Very much. Appreciate that.
Well, that's what they're going to send you an email now.
Now they're gonna
like,
send
you
me
were
an
wrong. You were wrong. Correct it next week.
Love me.
You should. It was very wrong of you to do that. Yeah, like look, it's a gray area too because like comedy is in a lot of ways it is performative. It is but a lot of people take a lot of actual truth from those events, right? That's a lot of the best comedy speak truth about society. So then the issue here is about how it was delivered, and I do err more on the side of like even if I don't agree with the guy, I'm not here to police comedy. Even if I think that he's kind of in the wrong
Well,
here.
even people who think that these types of stories, when they are real, need to be amplified, and his own fans are commenting on his social media. He deleted his Twitter, by the way, but they're commenting on his Instagram, being like, "Hey, I've been a fan for a while, but what is this New Yorker article? Like, I think you should make a statement about this. You ruined somebody's life." And you don't really seem to care. I don't think his fans really were under the impression that they were getting an embellished version of the truth.
Yeah.
I think they thought that this really happened. He also told TMZ, all my stand-up stories are based on events that happened to me. Yes, I was rejected from going to prom because of my race. That's also not true. He's still lying. Yes, a letter with powder was sent to my apartment that almost harmed my daughter. Yes, I had an interaction with law enforcement during the war on terror. Yes, I roasted Jared Kushner to his face. I used the tools of stand-up comedy, hyperbole, changing names and locations, and compressing timelines to tell entertaining stories. He's really downplaying the gravity of it.
My daughter may not have even been in the room when this happened, but you know.
I don't even think that the powder is a real part of the story. I think he's making that part up. Honestly. More telling quotes, "You have to take the shots you're given in life, even if they're built on a lie." And the last statement he made, "The emotional truth is first, the factual truth is secondary."
That is a terrifying idea. More than anything, that concept is scary because that's the society with. Thanks, gynocentrism. This is all your fault.
Well, the factual truth, it might not as well even exist.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
As long as your emotional truth of the matter overshadows it, they don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And also he, as a comedian and a public figure, presents himself as someone who speaks truth to power and is like taking down the
man that doesn't exist because it's not a real story.
You know, the system, blah, blah, blah. That's just grating for audiences. Like, that's not something you go to see to like enjoy yourself and feel like a form of escapism. from how dark and bleak the world feels right now.
Right.
That's like that just amplifies more of that doomerism.
Yeah.
He also had the nerve to do a sit-down interview with Obama where he grilled Obama about the authenticity of his end-of-year playlists that he makes. Do you guys know about this? He like puts out these playlists of like
What he's been
recommended
listening
music, or like
to.
what I've been listening to.
Oh, okay.
And everyone like always sees these and you're like, Obama, you're not listening to SZA. Like, stop. And Hassan Minaj like did this interview with him and he was like, look me in the eyes and tell me that you really listen to that music. It's not true. You're emotionally dishonest. Like, this guy is talking about dishonesty.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. He's just projecting so hard.
Absolutely.
Not that I think Obama is telling the truth either.
Right.
What do you think? What do you think?
He pretty
really,
much admitted that it's not real.
What do you think he
was
really
like, I get
listens to?
suggestions.
What do you think he really listens to?
Obama. You think he listens to
Classical.
music even? Yeah, probably classical
Yeah.
music.
Yep.
Reggae?
Think so?
No, because of the. Yeah.
Country.
I can see that actually.
Try that in a
He
small
loves
town
it.
is going to be on his
He's just listening,
2023.
like, he's just a huge.
Jason
He, like,
Aldean.
he puts on sunglasses and goes to see Morgan. He tours with Morgan Wallen. He's a groupie for Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
He just follows him around all over the country.
I wouldn't be surprised if I saw some Maren Morris on his end of year playlist.
In the chat, and so he says SZA is just trying to rip off RZA. Yes, that is absolutely true.
Yep.
It's, yeah.
Is that what her name is based on?
I mean, I'm assuming that it's supposed to be a take on Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Well,
I
Lil
think
Nas
so.
X exists.
Yep. And he's a ripoff too of Nas.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's a ripoff if it's like
It's an homage.
very clearly
It's
an homage.
It's an unwanted homage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real Nas is like, could you not do that?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I'm considered one of the greatest rappers of all time. If you could not put me in your category, that would be fantastic.
Do you guys remember Sean King? This guy really
do.
reminds me of Sean King.
Of
He's been like a high profile like BLM activist, critical race theorist who I think it's safe to assume that this guy is white and he just tells everyone that he's black.
Sean King?
His first name's Jeffrey. That's pretty white.
He's told a lot of very easily debunked stories about his life, and I don't know how
He's
people
like
get
a
away with it so
Rachel,
long. Like Rachel Dolezal
yeah.
obviously is a hoaxer, but some people keep getting away with it.
all right, let's go to Super Chats.
Yoshima Otaru said, counterpoint, I like watching you reload the money.
Yes! That's a,
Well, we can't please everyone.
and if you want to see that, we need a third crisis party, so.
Richard said testing. Thank you for
Thank
testing.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Shane H. Wilder said, is pop culture people a slur for crisis actors?
Yes.
No.
Also, who's annoyed at reloading money guns?
People who don't like fun, apparently.
Yeah. Someone who
not
always
name
finds
names.
something to complain about. And hey, crisis actors are people too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
One more.
John Stewart.
I think.
Sorry.
Yep.
Is this Bushido Patriot?
Yes.
USA?
Yep.
Meter check. Hi, Magnanimous Mary and BRETT.
Thank you. And you spelled my name right, too, so thank you for that. Thank you for that.
That's us.
nice.
All right, guys, let's move on, shall we? So if you have been living under a rock, like I said yesterday, Russell Brand has been in the news very heavily. He is a former mainstream celebrity, actor, news presenter, all those things, who pivoted to the not so mainstream. He became very, very well known separately on YouTube, questioning big pharma, questioning mainstream narratives. And he has since had several very, very serious allegations of grape and SA placed against him. If you don't know what that is, you'll have to look it up. But you get what I'm saying, right? Women have accused him of doing very, very awful things. And yesterday we covered those allegations. We talked about, yesterday the discussion was about, was he guilty or not? I think now the discussion is becoming, what is the fallout going to look like? And indeed that's happening because YouTube has demonetized him. And that is within 24 hours of all of these things. I just want to point out, Miranda Sings is still on YouTube. Mike Tyson is still on YouTube.
Mike Tyson has a YouTube channel?
Oh yeah. Cardi
What
B.
does he do on his YouTube channel?
It's the hotboxing, right? With the clips.
Yeah.
Cardi B, who has admitted to drugging and robbing men, is still on YouTube. Your belief on whether they're guilty should not matter here. The point is, people that are also accused of very, very serious crimes don't seem to have their monetization in trouble. So you have to ask the question, why him? Why now? And what's the deal?
It's just going to push him to Twitter anyway.
I do believe. Well, he's on Rumble. He uses Rumble, so he's still got that. But it does make you ask why now. I do think that we're getting conspicuously close to a 2024 election.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in a previous election that was decided by less than a few, like by a few 1,000 or 100,000 votes. Somebody with a platform of 6 million followers on a social media platform is a very dangerous personality to have there. Yeah. Again, whether he's innocent or guilty.
Isn't he very critical of Trump?
Yeah, but now then he criticizes vaccines and big pharma, which I think are going to be on the.
Do you guys watch Russell Brand's videos?
Sometimes I'll watch his clips. I do enjoy them.
You too?
He's definitely on a conscious flow.
What do you make of the allegations that have come out?
Oh, and I asked the chat before we'll get. Well, I want you guys to tell us what you think of it. But I asked the chat. I said, Russell Brand, guilty, innocent, or look, it's complicated. So right now, where are we sitting at right now with the? Right now, so far, 58% say innocent, 4% say guilty. 38% say, look, it's complicated. So what do you ladies think?
I mean, it is complicated. How long ago was this? She said she was 16. Assault is a word that, God, it gets used way too much. It's like, what do you mean by assault? Did they call you a bad name, or did they actually put your hand?
We looked into all the graphic details yesterday, which we're not even going to go to the trouble of repeating today. But the timeline is 2006 to 2013.
And when was he with Katy Perry?
It was after that, right?
After that,
they divorced in 2017, didn't they?
That sounds about right. And
so
why?
yeah,
there's a lot of ambiguity.
Very complicated.
Well, one of the other things that I always point out in these situations, because I did a radio spot this morning, and like one of the things they brought up was like, they always bring up like there's the allegations like, and he was mean to people at work. I'm like, why do you weigh down the very, very real, well-defined accusations with this stuff where it's like, and he was kind of a dick at work.
He was a chauvinist when he worked at Channel 4.
There's a $20 super chat there from Leonardo Derp Caprio, who, by the way, guys, it's his birthday. So happy birthday, Derp.
Happy birthday.
When it comes to Russell Brand, remember what Socrates said, I inscribe upon water the oaths of a woman. Seems ancient societies throughout time have known better than to blithely accept the testimony of emotional thinkers.
And remember, think of the topic we just covered. Emotion over facts, emotion over actual truth. That's where this is the type of case where you actually see that play out, right?
Yes.
When you favor the emotional response to an accusation as opposed to the true facts of the matter, maybe because you've been watching Hassan Minaj your whole life. That's mean, but the point, you get what I'm saying,
and that
right?
is very feminine thinking, right?
Yeah.
It's emotions over facts, whether women want to admit it or not. You have to be very, like, it takes a conscious effort, more so, I think, for women to, like, stay logic-based, whether we realize it or not. I see women doing it all the time. I'm sure I do it myself as well. So I think that could be at play sometimes is women. Well, my first question is, how come it's coming out right now?
Yeah.
That's always my question
election
when
year.
allegations come out.
Yeah.
That's
what some would say. That's what I personally would say.
And hasn't he been sober? How long has he been sober for?
Since quite a few years now.
A long time.
Quite a few years now.
Was he during this time
That's what
period?
I'm wondering.
No, well, yeah, the one lady he met at AA. The one that he met.
Right.
But the other reason why it's dodgy is because now you've got the stuff coming out where Kristen Bell had, like, they're talking about Kristen Bell. They talk about Catherine McPhee. They're like, he bounced her on his knee at a thing where she's very clearly not upset.
They were on the Tonight Show together in 2013.
Here's the images of it. I don't want to play the clip because we'll end up getting copyright. It's like, oh, by the way, guys, another reason you should doubt or at least call all of this into question is, look, our video yesterday instantly demonetized. The live. Demonetized.
What? Why?
And we didn't use any of the trigger words.
None of the trigger words. All
unless Me Too has become
like
a
as
trigger
soon as you
word
went live.
on
Andy,
YouTube.
no, like
As
after
soon as it was done and
when
up?
I cut the segment up, that one was put on limited visibility and monetization. The same thing's happening to Andy Signor, who said that, like, his video, which has no bad words, no nothing like that.
Also, Andy Senior is more on the side of, like, believing the accounts.
Yep. So like
So
you
it's
have
not
to
really-
wonder why
They're
all of this is-
disincentivizing you from talking about it no matter where you stand on it.
So here's the thing that they made this whole article complaining about him bouncing her on his knee as he's being brash during an interview with Jimmy. I wonder
looks
how
to be
drunk Jimmy
enjoying
Fallon was in that. Was he drunk, do you think? But she says it was harmless, but that's not the point. The point is it's now they poisoned the well. Now this article's out there forever.
Kristen Bell's comments about Russell Brand seem to be the approach that you should take to someone who is known in the industry to be a womanizer. She said that she was aware of his womanizing and made it clear to him that she was not going to tolerate his advances. Quote, I made it really clear from the beginning that I would sock him in the balls if he tried anything, so he was intimidated. I had no idea who he was until I Googled him and saw what a little stinker he is with the ladies.
What a stinker!
He kept reminding us every 10 minutes of how famous he is in Britain by going, it's so weird not to be recognized here. He didn't fancy me at all and in fact went out of his way to tell me how grotesque I was, and I certainly didn't fancy him because he's so high maintenance. He took longer in makeup than I did. She said that he didn't try to mess with her or get in her pants. Quote, he knew I would lop his nuts off.
Is this like a
But then she said she loved working with him, and even though he's known as this womanizer who is promiscuous and a troublemaker, that she thinks he's a very nice boy. She had a lovely time with him.
Is this going to be like a character letter where in a few years she has to make a video of herself
Is she gonna
extremely
have to
disheveled saying,
apologize
I was
for
forced to write that article?
But you're going to have to apologize now for having any positive experience with someone who has any allegations against them.
Right.
Because you have to side with the victims, even though your personal experience.
They get mad at you for saying like,
conflicts
look,
with that.
look, he was always nice to me. Then they tell you you're not allowed to say that. For the people who talk about how important lived experience is, they don't seem to care about it when it doesn't fit the narrative.
It just sounds like she had a really good approach to how to relate to
The
someone like
situation.
this.
Yeah. She
I'm
knew how to
sure
handle
there
it.
are many of them just like it in Hollywood.
Yep.
All over the place.
I also
For
want to
sure. All over the world, not just Hollywood.
I also want to point out, like, look, this was Channel 4, right, that ran this thing
Yeah.
about him, and he was a former Channel 4 employee.
In a way, they're apologizing for associating
Yes.
with him
Well,
by putting
they're-
this out.
It's very clear to me now that Channel 4 is now a bastion of decency and moralism. I found this article today. Russell Kane fractured his forearm after being asked to provide a sperm sample for a new Channel 4 show. Here is the quote. It says, as I'm sure you can guess, part of the project on the show involved the stars, masturbating as a way of tracking their progress. So things have clearly changed for the better over there.
Wait, wasn't there also the Channel 4 show where they get naked in front of kids?
Yes. Also, I believe that that might. I don't want to claim that offhand, but it was a UK show where
I think it was Channel 4.
you want to double check. So basically, it was a show where it's like they have adults of all varying body sizes and types get naked in front of children to destigmatize the naked body by showing it to children. Not creepy at all, scumbags.
It's Channel 4's show, Naked
parent- like,
Education.
where are their parents?
Sparks Fury as program shows adults stripping off their clothes and standing fully nude in front of children. So clearly, these people are the standard bearers of what is sexually appropriate and what boundaries are healthy. And
Can you
normal.
imagine Russell Brand fighting back against such honesty and character? I just like it's a weird. We're in this weird world now where Russell Brand is going through this, but MILF Manor is on TV. And in all of it,
It's very
like
schizophrenic.
The culture both simultaneously promotes the bad behavior, or at the very least, if you want to call it bad, that's more of a judgment. Like it promotes the risky behavior, the hypersexualized behavior, and then turns around and says that behavior is abhorrent when we say so against the very specific celebrities we say so because you can trust us. Because we're the network that puts adults naked in front of kids. Why wouldn't you trust us?
Yeah, but
That's
then they're
disgusting.
like, pearl clutching. Like, she was 16 at the time. Like, I'm not saying either one is good.
Yeah.
But are you the person to be calling it out? Or the entity, the company? I mean, they are a profit-driven company at the end of the day.
But then at the same time, when, what's her name? Travis Barker's daughter did like an ad campaign that was risque because she was 16 years old. The UK was the only one to censor it.
Dude, I mean, it's so hypocritical because prime example, we were just talking about her earlier, is Britney Spears. Look at what they did to her. They had her dancing around in a schoolgirl outfit with her stomach out when she was like 16 years old. They sexualize
wasn't she
kids all
18?
the time. She was 16 or 17 when it was
16.
filmed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So she was underage. She was a child legally when it was filmed. And they do this all the time. I mean, Miley Cyrus, like, you know, I can't think of like any other off the top of my head, but there was
the creepy Ariana Grande video you made me watch.
Yes, yeah.
There's Ariana Grande, but it goes
that one is
back
disgusting.
further. Judy Garland, Brooke Shields.
Right. It's endless.
Shields.
Like
All of them.
it's a known thing. But then they want to single out this person at a very opportune time politically. I personally just think I don't buy it. I mean, I think that we have to wait for more evidence to come out and see. I don't want to like defend someone if he did do something heinous.
It shouldn't be,
but I
like,
find it
taken off
incredibly
YouTube
hypocritical.
already.
Yeah, my issue here is that what is the standard?
Should
for-
someone get any consequences for off-platform behavior whatsoever? Because that's what Alex Jones is banned on Twitter right now for, is off-platform behavior.
All of
and I
them
don't think
also
that's fair.
suspiciously
off-platform
banned closer to election times when they believe that those people hold tremendous influence over
As he does.
a large population.
Yeah.
But, it's just like, look, I'm still up in the air about whether I believe any of this stuff. And the big thing we talked about yesterday is like, look, when you're in this sphere and you talk about this stuff, you end up having to like make your bet and then like stick by. You're not allowed to evolve.
That's why I'm like, I don't know. The timing to me makes him look more innocent. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if he is.
There's a $20 one there from Hot Shot Red.
I'm very happy to see this channel popping off. Been silently watching for months now. Good job, guys. I'll go back to shutting up now. Live long and prosper.
No, my friend, stay, my friend. We don't want you to shut up. We want you to come and hang out and be part of the conversation. That's the point. Yeah, like you can't do all of this stuff at once, and then we see like how many celebrities every day do degenerate shit, and we watch nothing happen to their livelihoods. Yeah, they might lose some acting roles, but if those people have social media profiles, they're not getting banned for that stuff.
It depends on
the Taliban still has Twitter.
If you're a good boy, they won't try to defame you and smear your name. Like, do you really think that Justin Timberlake hasn't had some questionable encounters? Of course he has. Probably Leonardo DiCaprio too. If I had to guess, but all these,
Justin Timberlake has gone through like every couple of years he kind of comes up in the weeds of like. He got off scot-free while Janet Jackson had her career kind of ruined.
It was planned.
Yeah.
The nip slip was planned. They probably knew about it beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know, point being, Justin Timberlake, he is not political, or if he is, as far as I know, it's like on the good side, and so you don't hear about him being like losing a stream of income.
That's why Miranda Sings is allowed to keep her YouTube channel, even if she made that crappy ukulele
She's friends
video.
with YouTube, and she's not going to face consequences, partly because she is a woman, and secondly because, well, technically, there is a criminal allegation against her that she was sending.
Well, but there aren't
sending prawn to children. That is a crime.
Who's that makeup artist dude who's been caught multiple times? James
Charles.
James
like
Charles.
messaging underage guys on Instagram.
Yeah.
Wait, we just had the story the other day that we didn't even cover. The guy from the guy who got caught in the pedo ring. It was caught by creep. It was like creep. What was it called? Like creep catchers or something like that.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's basically Hanson, but not. What was his name?
I'm trying to find it. He was from Real Genius.
Yeah, but he got caught in like a.
Gabriel Jarrett, 53, was caught sending sexually explicit messages to someone he thought was a 13-year-old girl. They were posing as a 13-year-old girl in the creep catcher unit. Yeah. And
the cops should rename their crimes against children unit the creep catcher unit.
Yeah, for sure.
Ironically, this article also pulled up a post that he made during the middle of the Me Too era in 2017, saying this guy who just got caught for being a PDF file. He says, "Be careful at whom you throw stones," and he's talking about his friend Andy Dick, who got sexual harassment allegations. He said, "If you knew Andy like I do, you're familiar with my expression. In the wake of the fever pitch of righteous anger over SA, we are bound to see the pendulum swing the other way. Well-intentioned people can do just as much damage in the name of righteousness. I beg you, don't be one of them. Don't use a single word or action to slap a label of SA on someone who had no intention of doing so. So many people have been affected by truly bad behavior. Don't join a mob just because it's politically correct climate to do so.
He also,
and it's very ironic.
What was the excuse
coming
he
from
said?
this guy?
He said that he went to meet her in person so that he could tell her to stop messaging him.
That is so classic.
Which is almost
That's
as funny
the
as the
worst
one where they're like,
alibi.
I came to warn her about the dangers of meeting strangers
internet.
from the internet.
Yep.
It's just like people who want to lie about like giving false accusations against famous men. They're gonna use the rhetoric of Me Too in their own favor, and then the people who want to hide their own misconduct, which has happened behind closed doors, they're gonna use the rhetoric of anti-Me Too to their advantage as well. So you really can't trust anyone. And I don't think at the end of the day it really matters whether we find out if Russell Brand was guilty or innocent. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't, because we can't know. We can't know.
Right, but what about, how come with Danny Masterson, why are people so quick to be like, oh, he's an R-worder, like how can you defend him?
People have a natural
You know
bias
what I mean?
against Scientology.
It's like a double, it's not a double standard, but it's, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but it's like you're treating the situations
You have like
differently.
an
It's
unconscious
like
bias against
yes,
one. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Another
You know?
reason that I do believe that they're doing this, if we're being completely honest, is like, look, if he's going to continue down this path, if he's going to continue to make the content that he's making, and he finds some damning evidence on some candidate. I think at one point he revealed like all the senators and Congress people that were in bed with Big Pharma, right?
He's like playing with fire for
now,
a while.
what happens is whenever he does this, and they have to write articles about it, they say this story broken by Russell Brand, who is an accused sexual abuser, found that politician A from Party B has been in bed with this pharmaceutical company all along. It's to discredit anything he does in future, because they can then, it's called death by hyperlink.
Yep.
So even if it's not proven, the hyperlink, they say Russell Brand, who's an alleged sexual abuser, and then they have the hyperlink to the article that says he was accused of this crime. That will follow him now forever. So as he tries to uncover truth, you know, whatever the hell that means these days, they will be able to smear him every chance they get. It'll be the first page of all his YouTube, or of all his internet hits from then on. Also, I decided just to do a test. I looked up Russell Brand, no qualifiers. I just looked up Russell Brand on YouTube. Every hit you get comes from a mainstream news source, all of which have less views than what Tim's video on the subject got in like 3 hours earlier in the day. He had one, there was one from like the USA Today, which had like 44,000 views, and it went up yesterday. His one that went up this morning had like 88,000 views, and it only been up for a few hours. They're doing it to poison the reach.
Yeah, to poison the reach of Russell Brand's own YouTube videos.
Exactly.
Which you would have found before.
Yep. So it's a scummy thing to do, and it's terrifying to think about just how much.
The Mike Pence rule has never been more prescient. Say what you will about Mike Pence.
They need a video where,
but
like,
you can't get shit on Mike Pence.
They need a video where
He's
Mike Pence just like appears next to Russell Brand. He's like, "Let me help you, partner." He's like, "I'll show you the way." So yeah, it shows you just how much control these tech companies have over the narrative around this stuff, because the people that are finding Tim's video on it, or something like that, they've got their mind made up.
I feel
in
like
a lot of cases.
He should be able to sue for defamation, because if an allegation gets you immediately demonetized and you're losing income from it, when nothing has been proven, it's
suable.
Yeah, like it's defamation.
I wonder if he ever felt like when Armie Hammer was going through all this, because they were both in Death on the Nile, and he's like, because all of these celebrities that were had their sexual proclivities as part of their past, like, just I always point out, think of all of the rock stars who wake up every day terrified that today is the day that somebody decides to write this piece about them.
Yeah,
because there's plenty of bad behavior.
Like an interview with like Slash or somebody, who was like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that went on back in the day that people would get canceled for now, and it weirdly declined to go into detail.
Yeah.
Because it's self-incrimination.
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised.
All right. Shall we go to Super Chats then?
Yes, let's go.
Let's do it.
Leonardo DiCaprio said, best joke I've heard today, a vegan and a vegetarian throw themselves off a cliff to see who hits the ground first, who wins society.
Yeah. I've heard that one before. It's kind of funny.
John Stewart said, I'm 5'4", I have to live vicariously through Brett.
I got you, buddy.
Short kings
Brett
stand
told us
together.
a great story earlier.
They don't stand tall, but they stand together.
Oh, I think have I told that one on air before?
what?
The one about at the grocery store where the lady.
Oh yeah, you've told it. You've told it.
I will always.
You can
hold
bring
that.
it up again. It's okay.
I will always hold it against. Okay, so for the
Never
people,
forget. We got new viewers.
one time, ladies and gentlemen, I've told this story to some people, but other people have not. I was at a grocery store and I was shopping. And there was a little old lady who needed something off the top shelf, and she comes to me, 5'5" tall,
All 5'5"
all
of
5'5"
you.
of me, and she goes, "Son, could you get something off the top shelf?" And I get it for her, and I'm like beaming. I'm like, I've been muscling up. I've been working towards this my whole life. Somebody asks me to get something off the top shelf. Mind you, I did have to tiptoe just a little bit. So I was very excited.
No
about
shame
that.
in tiptoeing.
No. So like 5 minutes later, I'm still shopping. I'm still beaming because I was able to help this old lady get chips from I think they were chips from the top shelf of the chip aisle. And then I see something on the top shelf. It was mashed potatoes that I needed to get. And I'm just looking at them. I haven't reached yet. And somebody goes, "Do you need help getting those?" Ruined my whole day.
Was it a guy that said
It
that?
was.
A guy that worked there, or just
It was a guy that worked there.
Okay, at least he worked there.
less
Because if it was
emasculating.
another guy that was just shopping, he was like, "Need help getting that, buddy?"
Yep.
Or it's another little old lady.
Yes.
I need help, son.
It was very depressing to you.
Yeah, just knocking it with your cane.
You've been working your whole life to be able to help somebody get something off the top shelf, and then
You
this
need a lasso.
happens.
It was taken from
Get
you.
a lasso.
Too soon.
I went out to my car and I was just like,
And just cried.
so close, so close.
DCNC said, Brenton, Lauren, or Tiffany? They've asked you this before.
Ooh.
Bogart or Gomez?
That would depend on the day of the week.
Okay.
Normie Brett, Brett who feels normie 65 to 70% of the time says Tiffany. We'll go to Hobby Lobby and Target. It'll be great. The 30% and then I can watch, episodes of Alex Jones with Lauren Boebert. It'll be great. Yeah.
I bet both of them would be open to that.
Yeah. I make no choice. I think eventually it would be Tiffany Gomez because I just won't. Politics sucks. So
She's also got money.
yes. Well, I'm sure Boebert's got some money too now that she's in politics.
Probably.
Yeah.
Remember, being greedy is not a Republican trait or a Democrat trait. It's a politician's trait.
Endearing.
Ryan the Eating Warrior said, all actors for every movie going forward will be the Green Man.
The
Wait, what?
What does that mean?
Like a green screen?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shinny Twilder said, if you want to see yourself in a movie, buy a mirror and put it in front of the TV.
That's a good idea. That's a good. Then you're just like watching the movie
Solution.
in reverse.
Or just
Life
watch
hack.
it with like a really bad glare.
Yeah. Censor it.
Do one more and then we'll move on.
Sir Squatch said, hey PCC, been listening while I work for the last year and I'm currently on the roof of a Walmart working on some equipment.
Tell them to
Be
lower.
careful.
Tell them to lower the shelf height so I don't have such a problem.
Yeah.
Just get you a little elevator.
Big question for Mary.
No, like what they need is a step stool that I can carry around.
That's right.
Or that they keep in the stores.
Yes.
Yeah.
In every aisle.
Let's move on.
Well, that wasn't the end of it.
Oh, go ahead, keep
Big
going.
question for Mary. What happened to your appearance of Simcast? The time was changed from its usual time, so I was at evening mass when Simcast started, so I wasn't able to make it. But I'm sure I will. in the
God
future.
first.
Yes. God first.
Always.
Anyway, Madonna is still on a social media rampage. Someone take this elderly woman's phone away from her, please, for our own sake.
We need her and Britney Spears to
the
both have the
video's
same
so
person
good.
take their phones away.
She just posted an extremely disturbing thirst trap on her TikTok to a song by The Weeknd.
Well, we're not going to listen to the song.
Yeah, don't turn the sound on, but I guess
the clip's only
for
5
educational
seconds.
purposes, we must play this, at least briefly.
Here you go.
Brace yourselves.
This, yeah. No. I don't like it.
Is she trying to get up out of her wheelchair?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Struggling?
You know, it's funny. I remember
Grandma.
my mom talking about her shock value and, how she used to, try to get
Yeah.
reactions out of people in
Uh-huh.
her day. And now here she is. She's got social media now. She's like going through the next wave of people to shock, and here
There
we
you
are.
go.
And
Yeah.
Brett sent me this reaction to it saying, when they're young, we celebrate pop stars for their promiscuity and excess, but in their old age, we see how damaging that lifestyle is to the body and soul. Don't fall for it.
Well, her
And we
face
see
is
the
a
same
pussy
thing
anyway.
with like Britney Spears on her stripper pole in her house.
Yeah.
Like, it's not giving sexually liberated. It's giving mental breakdown.
It's like
Yeah.
self-destruction. It's a show of
It's
self-destruction.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, like, and here's the other thing. It's like when you make a career on being provocative, of being a provocateur, you have to like figure out when have I passed provocateur age?
And yeah, and when you make your only value your looks and being
Yeah.
provocative, that only lasts for like a very few amount of years.
It really
And
does.
how do you
She's pushing it.
provoke the culture in 2023 when everything Madonna was, trying to, every like cultural value that Madonna was trying to offend back in her prime is now
Normal.
it's all been toppled down. Like, what do you do then?
Yeah.
Like, how are you still a provocateur now when you've lived through the entire
It's so weird. Well, I guess she's doing
the culture flipping?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do then? She's
guess-
kind of just lost.
She puts
I'm
out a Christian
confused
album, a Catholic
because
album.
There you go.
she still looks incredibly surgically altered, and we had read a report that said, she was desperate to get back to her natural face. And we also speculated that her recent hospitalization was due to possibly complications that came from plastic surgery or injections of some sort. She had this like super serious bacterial infection where she like went into a coma.
Oh wow.
And that's definitely not out of the question for plastic surgery. Like, people don't know this, but when you get implants, you have to get them replaced every 10 years or else it will kill you.
So really, you're just leasing them. You're not even buying them.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, who knows, like sketchy places that inject silicone in you, like you don't really know what they're selling you. It's dangerous stuff. But anyway, Pepsi has a new ad campaign where they realized, doing the new stuff, the woke stuff, it doesn't really appeal to people. It doesn't make us sell more product. We're just going to repost all our old commercials because they were better. So they're reposting the Britney Spears commercial where, she did her like Joy of Pepsi ad campaign, and they reposted Madonna's ad campaign for Pepsi that was based on her music video for Like a Prayer.
Yep.
And that music video, I mean, I at least here was controversial at the time.
Yes, it was. She was a controversial person.
Yeah.
She was
She has not
singing in
changed.
front of burning crosses.
Yeah, she has
and-
not changed at all.
Yeah, and it was
She's just
basically, she's always been kind of crazy. The concept of the music video is that it's about like systemic racism in policing. So there's this scene where this white woman is getting ganged up on by a bunch of white men, and then this black guy comes over to save the day, and then the white men scurry off, and then the police come, and then they arrest the black man who's innocent. And that was a new concept back like 34 years ago when the song came out.
Yeah.
But when you rehash it today, it doesn't really hit the same. And she reposted this Pepsi commercial, the Like a Prayer commercial, and she captioned it, 34 years ago, I made a commercial with Pepsi to celebrate the release of my song Like a Prayer. The commercial was immediately canceled when I refused to change any scenes in the video where I was kissing a black saint or burning crosses. So began my illustrious career as an artist refusing to compromise my artistic integrity. Thank you at Pepsi for finally realizing the genius of our collaboration. Artists are here to disturb the peace.
What I think they don't get is that they are the peace now.
Yeah.
They are they say they're here to speak truth to power while refusing to acknowledge that you are part of a multi-billion-dollar industry. You are the power. Like you're no longer the tiny little artist shouting into the void, trying to stop the man from doing something. You are the man. You are the police officer who showed up late and then arrested the wrong person. You are them.
The Pepsi ad ends with celebrating 40 years of disrupting the status quo. Like, thank you, mega corporation, for disrupting the status quo. It's really incredible how like tone deaf they are. And, you know, even after they did that awful PR blunder with Kendall Jenner, they did that Pepsi commercial with Kendall Jenner where she goes to the protest and everyone's holding up signs and she brings the Pepsi. She brings Pepsi to a protest and
world peace ensues.
I don't know, world peace ensues.
That's like
exactly.
A double rainbow shows. Sunlight shines
and suddenly,
down on all.
All inequality, world hunger was over. Inequality defeated once and for all.
Yep.
And
Pepsi.
That didn't go over well when it was like 2016?
2018,
right?
Right.
But like protest culture is mainstream culture now.
Yep.
That's what they don't seem
Maybe
to grasp.
they're trying to say we did it first. That would be my only guess of like trying to look cool and be like,
you want to be the person who did it first. You don't want to be the person who did it last, right?
This anti-police Black Bloc rally brought to you by Pepsi.
And the Kardashian Jenner family.
Exactly. Like
they are truly speaking truth to power.
Like instead of like don't
what?
Don't throw Molotov cocktails. There's a better way.
Yeah.
And it's just
throw a Pepsi.
It's Pepsi cocktails thrown into the.
They're like spraying it like champagne.
A Molotov Pepsi goes through the window. They're like, together we can. Yes,
it like
can.
rolls and then it lands right with the Pepsi logo like facing the camera.
No, the best thing was like one of my favorite things in movies and television is ad placement when some guy's like holding a can like this in a scene. He's moving and the can's turning with him, which is not how people act.
Sideways.
Not natural.
Have you ever seen Wayne's World when he's like, yes,
yeah.
and it's the choice of a new generation.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's what I was thinking.
I will not bow to any corporate sponsor. Like, you know, some people just do things because they get paid, and that's just really sad. And that one hits home with me because I'm a fan of Reebok. So you know, I still look for that whole outfit.
Speaking of ad placement, really quickly, I'm just curious what's on your hat. I've been staring at it the whole show.
It's a minor league baseball team called the Cedar Rapids Colonels. Okay. It's a Minnesota Twins farm team. So I only collect hats that are either the Seattle Mariners because of Ken Griffey Jr., Minnesota sports teams if they're snapback hats. And
very
Seattle,
interesting.
And then for fitted hats, it's either Seattle Mariners, Twins, or Minnesota Twins farm team. So that's the the Rochester Red Wings, the Cedar Rapids Colonels, and then the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a cool little corn animation.
Yes.
Real corn.
I saw people.
Cool.
I saw people appreciating it
in
the chat. So I don't wear this one very much because
and you're not sponsored by them.
No.
Wish you were though.
I absolutely wish I would.
Guys, Coke or Pepsi if you have a dog in this fight?
Sorry, there's a wrong answer here. The right answer is Pepsi every single time.
If I have to, Coke.
I'd have to do Pepsi.
Baggy jeans, Coca-Cola.
We were having a whole debate about baggy jeans versus skinny jeans before the show today, guys.
Sorry, ladies. Baggy jeans are canceled. Pepsi may be canceled. Russell Brand may be canceled. But if Russell Brand has to be canceled, then baggy jeans go with him. Baggy jeans go with him.
That's the compromise?
That's the compromise.
Okay.
Yes, you can have Russell Brand, but I can also get rid of baggy jeans. Yes. I will give up the First Amendment if it means women can't wear baggy jeans.
Heart's in the right place.
Exactly. But Madonna's like I said, in a world full of Dolly Partons, don't be a Madonna, be a Dolly Parton. She's use your plastic surgery wisely.
It's such a shame. Yeah. Like she got rid of her tooth gap, which was one thing that when she was strikingly beautiful, it made her unique, and she got rid of that, and then ruined her natural beauty. Wouldn't age gracefully, and she's just like grasping on to what was the prime of her career and her sexuality for dear life, and not able to let it go, and still believes that she lives in the same culture that she became successful in. This says religious groups strongly criticized her music video for Like a Prayer because of the burning crosses, and she often used Catholic imagery in a subversive way, which was actually subversive for the time.
Yeah, but it's like when you do it now.
34 years later, that she's somehow pushing the envelope, and it's just not. It's nothing.
It's
like
what every girl on TikTok's doing.
Yeah.
You know.
So I guess what would be subversive now? Like
starting a family at 22 and getting married and homesteading.
I guess what Black China is doing, if you're
Yes.
looking at stars, like people in the spotlight, she's getting rid of all of that silicone and fakeness and getting baptized.
Yeah.
When it's unpopular to do so.
I think that might be the answer. The answer is like the ones who are choosing towards actual religion, not the ones who thank God at the award ceremonies.
They always do.
They always do, right? But the ones who are actually making, like I guess like a Mark Wahlberg, right? Like who's like he's like, I just don't think I got many years left in me. I'm like, bro, you don't even have to act anymore. Why are you still acting?
Wake up, pray up.
Yeah. Designer got me drip.
I love how cringe he is.
He embraces the cringe. heavily.
He has been since the 90s.
Like actually, one of the ones that I was like, I've seen a couple of people who they go to mega churches and like that's their thing. They're like I understand that people have a problem with mega churches, but I'm being subversive by going to a mega church.
Going to a mega church for the irony.
Like it's like Joel Osteen, like that's my guy right there. That's how you be subversive now. Right? It's silly.
I would love to see her do that, to just age gracefully, because it's like I do feel bad for her to an extent, but all these women in Hollywood have made natural aging such a terrifying thing. Like it doesn't exist anymore. So when you see someone who does naturally age, it's shocking. Like we were talking about Keanu Reeves' wife, I think yesterday. Yes. It's like people make comments about her looks, but that's because she just looks like how a 40-whatever-year-old woman should
She's older
look.
than that. She's
or 50,
yeah.
whatever.
She looks like a normal woman.
Yeah, like an aging woman, and she's aging gracefully. And the thing about plastic surgery is, like, once you start, you kind of have to keep up with it. So either you look bad because you got plastic surgery and you didn't keep up with it, or you look bad because you've gotten too much and it doesn't look good anymore. Unless you're Kris Jenner. I think her work looks great. But speaking about Madonna, staying on track, I wish that more women would just let themselves age gracefully. Yep. I'm not against a little work if you want to get it, but
society doesn't seem to put a whole lot of value on that these days. At least the mainstream. But at the same time, that's not necessarily true, because a lot of these celebrities then lie about getting work done. Mm-hmm. Then they lie. They're like, oh, I have not it's like
just tell me your secret. Just tell me. I want to know for myself.
Like I'm sure Anne Hathaway has gotten Botox or whatever, like nothing major, but
like Jennifer Lopez, doesn't she say she's like all natural? Like it's just facials.
Come on.
She's like 50 something.
Like, don't play with me like that.
Like it's
and it's not a big deal. Like if I were in their position, I would get Botox too.
Right.
I'm not trying to be holier than thou about it.
That's my thing. Yeah. I'm like, either be honest about it so there's not unrealistic expectations, or be honest about it so if I want to get the same stuff done,
like, help a girl out, she says. Help a girl out, she says.
They're not going to give their surgeons free promotion.
Yeah, they got to find the work themselves. They got to make their work by word of mouth. But yeah, like one of the things that me and you talk about pretty regularly is how all of these celebrities, it also comes kind of part and parcel with like being part of the activist generation, where all of these young actors and singers now want to be like Madonna at that time and push the envelope, but Sam Smith is still trying to do what Madonna did 34 years ago and claim that he's pushing the envelope. You're not, bro. Mm-hmm. You're not pushing any type of envelope. You just look worse doing it. At least she was pretty. Yeah. You just look fat and disgusting while you pretend to LARP for Satan. Like that's not really all that interesting. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's all kind of lame. And they don't know what to do. Back then it made sense because the establishment in Hollywood was also pushing back against a conservative culture. Now the culture is what the establishment is, so they don't know where to go.
Mm-hmm. But now even when conservatives try to make like subversive media, it often misses the mark really badly.
Usually because it's too on the nose.
Yeah.
81 million votes my ass.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't believe it.
It's the song.
Or like God's Not Dead.
Oh.
Bad movie. Bad movie.
Most of it ends up, I mean, they in a lot of ways, they have the same problem that the religious movies have had for decades, right? Where they just don't know how to
It's not overly sincere, isn't really the word for it, but it's like
it's too on the nose.
It comes off maybe as virtue signaling.
The movie we watched, The Hill, was a good example of doing it pretty well.
Yeah.
where there is a religious undertone to the film. His dad is a pastor. He's got a family, and that's certainly part of it, but it's not over the top. His faith informs the movie, but it doesn't feel like you're being spoken down to. But at the same time, then it doesn't matter because the media will call Sound of Freedom a religious movie, which it's not. Like,
And there's even less religion in that movie than in The Hill.
Yep. Yeah, but I do recommend people go see The Hill. The Hill was a good film, I think.
Yes,
so.
I agree.
Yep.
Let's catch up on some super chats.
Let's do it.
DCNC said 10K a week for writers. # learn to write. Wait, what?
They need
learn to write code?
I guess just write better.
And
maybe.
they don't have to live in LA. We
Yeah.
were talking
Yeah.
about this in the morning. Like, you can work for 10 weeks in LA when you're getting paid that much, and then live somewhere else where you're not below the poverty line the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Right? And now they're doing
Not
so
a
much.
bad idea. Oh,
Did you
she's
see
still be
the
right
door?
back.
No, did you see that door just like open? There's a ghost in here. The door just
The
randomly
ghost of
opened.
Crisis Past is back.
They're like, how dare you talk about Sam Smith LARPing for Satan? He's not LARPing. He's actually for Satan.
It's both. It's both.
Learn to Cole. Let's do two more.
DCNC said the thing about not enough LGBT in Hollywood, aren't half of them closeted anyway?
Why would you have
I don't
to
think they would be closeted
No,
in this day and age.
I've heard about being the other way around. I've heard about people playing up the gay thing when they're not actually gay.
They're like,
'cause they
I'm
feel
bi.
they have to.
Are there
Right.
closeted straights
Yes.
in Hollywood?
Yeah. Well, no, so that's the thing that was
Neil
going...
Patrick Harris actually
Secretly super masculine.
I think he's straight, isn't he?
No, he's not. He's
No?
He's gay.
What about Ryan
is he?
Seacrest?
No, I think Ryan Seacrest is married. So like,
No, he's straight, like, right?
Yeah,
He's
I think
like
so.
James
straight,
Corden
like,
is
actually.
definitely a closeted straight.
he's married to
We're
a
calling him
woman.
out. We're calling
Most
him
people
out.
thought he was gay.
But the thing is like this was going on in comics now where like people are like, yeah, I'm bi because you can't prove otherwise. Like, like I experimented in college, and you'll never actually know if they're telling the truth or not, right?
May or
Well,
may
like,
not be
it's-
true.
Zoomers these days, like actual teenagers will have like the most overly complex terminology for what their sexual orientation is.
Yeah.
When they have never even like held hands before.
We're gonna be talking about that too in the next segment. Let's do two more.
I don't know how to say this. Is it Quixote?
Quixote?
Don Quixote. Okay. News
Thank you.
from Canada. New inclusivity standards have led to schools removing any book from before 2008 from their library. Please donate your most problematic Harry Potters to the youths of my country. Harry
Any
Potter
book before
Wait.
2008 is gone. That's
No
insane.
way. Is that true?
That sounds like it's fake.
How's that possible?
Damn,
This is in Canada?
dude.
All of Canada? That's what
I
he's insinuating?
I guess, but Canada's like not a real country.
yeah, like that could
That's
be
not a
true
real
in
place.
Canada.
That sounds crazy.
Let's do one more because I have no idea if that's true.
Yeah, look that up, will you? DCNC said every time Brett says Lauren Boebert, I think Lorena Bobbitt. That's a weird fetish, dude.
Okay then.
Okay.
All right. Let's hold
know
off
what
on
that
the
is.
I
rest,
don't know
guys.
what that means.
So we were just talking a few seconds ago. Mary was talking about how the youths of the world have come up with these unbelievably uber complex terms for sexuality, for their sexuality. When in the end, they're all more lonely than they've ever been before. We've got some evidence to show that here. But also, did you know that the number one way to give a Gen Z woman the ick is by listening to Joe Rogan?
New study finds that the majority of women aged 18 to 34 think it's a red flag if a guy listens to Joe Rogan.
Let's put this this chart on the screen because it's kind of fascinating. This whole chart is very, very fascinating. So if you look here, ladies and gentlemen, it gives you a list of what everybody finds attractive, what they don't find attractive in regards. It says following behaviors are either a green, beige, or red flag.
What the heck is
in
a
apartment.
beige flag?
Yeah.
What is a
Like
beige
yellow
flag?
Yeah.
What is that?
What is a yellow flag?
Yeah.
Yep.
What does that
Like-
mean?
It's like almost
Proceed with caution?
proceed with caution. Maybe they showed a sign. I don't know. I honestly, somebody out there.
No,
Is that neutral?
To be
or-
fair,
Yeah.
this is only it's only a sample of 1,000 people, so it's a small
But it's very
subset.
telling, and I think like the increasing political divide between young men and young women, as young men are getting more and more conservative, young women are getting more and more liberal, it is an obstacle to people getting in relationships, because if you are that diametrically opposed on your foundational values, like, how are people going to get make kids anymore? Like, how are people going to get married and have kids anymore?
What if we have
What do you
kids
do?
and he likes Ben Carson? That's just horrible. Like
Ben Carson. Well, okay, 76% of women said they think it's a red flag if a guy identifies as a MAGA Republican.
I'm not gonna lie, like I don't like that term is kind of cheese anyway.
Conversely, 59% of men.
Men, like, there you go. All the insurrectionist Barbies out of a date because the men don't want.
Oh, speaking of Barbie, 53% of women said it's a red flag if a guy refuses to see the Barbie movie.
He's a closeted
Women don't know
bigot.
what they want. That's what that's.
Well, they know what they don't want, but they don't know what they do want. I think that's what this is proving. Like, everything is a red flag.
Yeah.
Nothing is a green flag.
Like,
Is that the
literally,
case?
like, women are like, if you don't care about politics, that's a red flag. But if you don't like the right politics, that's also a red flag, which automatically boxes you into a very, very small category. If you're not allowed to not care about politics, and you're not allowed to like a certain brand of politics entirely, that means they've pushed you into this little corner up in the top left section of the political compass test.
Yeah.
And they're like, if
sad.
you do not agree to be in a polyamorous relationship with me, I know my worth. I'm not gonna compromise. And
if our whole polycule can't go to see the Barbie movie 10 nights in a row, you're toxic, and I'm disassociating.
Those are the type of people, men or women, that like to say that my last partner was a toxic narcissist, which just means that they don't agree with you on everything nowadays, because that term has been watered down.
Even if
so
that's
badly.
like, what do you do if that's true? What do you do
do you
if your
know
ex
anymore?
actually was a toxic narcissist?
Yeah.
So
You can't tell anyone because they're gonna think you're lying.
So
They're gonna
guys,
call you the narcissist.
You're
So-
like, sure.
Yeah.
And you're like, no,
Yeah.
literally. Chain me up.
men don't seem to care too much whether you want to see the Barbie movie or whether you like Joe Rogan. It's not too
Well,
much
it
of a red
says
flag.
55% of women
I'm
see it as a
saying
red
men.
flag.
Men don't care. though. I'm saying men
35% of men, though, seeing a woman listens to Joe Rogan as a red flag, that's crazy. That's a lot.
That is actually a large.
Are
amount of the
they like
population.
polling from Southern California?
Yeah, who is this demographic?
Yeah.
Where is it coming from? I gotta know.
And it's just so funny because Joe Rogan is just so inoffensive.
He's just the host of the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
He has
it's
experts
his
come on and talk.
inoffensive that pisses me off the most.
I wish they would have polled these people on what their thoughts on The View were. Like,
Brett, I just sent you an Instagram reel about Gen Z that it's poignant for this discussion, I think.
Could you spot me like 10 for a milkshake? Hey mom, me and some friends are gonna head down to the mall. We're doing a protest because they're gatekeeping oat milk. Can you cash out me $10,000? I'm disassociating. Hey mom, me and some friends are gonna head out to the mall. Could you spot me like 10 for a milkshake?
It's very true.
It's what it is. It is the overabundance of like specific language for everything that they've given terms to everything. Back in the day, not everything had a term. Like I liked it back in the day when you were just an asshole. Like you weren't all sorts of specific phobics. You were just a mean person and you were mean to everybody. Like there was a time when that
There's
was a
just
thing.
psychobabble assigned to every bad behavior now.
And I want to draw attention to this one, which is that Gen Z is lonely. Gen Z is very, very lonely. It says
coming up with all of these arbitrary red flags for partners, you're not going to be satisfied with anybody.
You know what it is, but it's through the millennial generation of people telling you don't compromise. You're going to find the perfect person. Like they forgot that people aren't going to see eye to eye entirely, and what they've cast off once as compromising for the sake of hopefully forming a mutually beneficial, well-adjusted cohabitation. It's he or she has to meet all of my standards. Otherwise, they're a malignant narcissist who's out to bring down
or else
our
you're
democracy.
literally Hitler. No, but like, I think when you're looking for someone who has a similar point of view to you on your important foundational beliefs, it's so that that should be so we can have a harmonious household where our children are imbued with the same values. So we're not constantly in conflict, meaning like our kids won't know what to think about the world. But people aren't thinking about having kids now. When you're looking for a partner who agrees with you on literally everything,
It's all about
conforming to you on literally
What
every
you want.
issue,
Yeah.
it's about your comfort at that point. It's not about raising children with a coherent, sound worldview. Like the world isn't like crumbling underneath them. It's about yourself.
Yeah, and if the guy doesn't affirm all of your points of view, he's controlling and narcissistic. And the guy similarly will say, if she does not bend to my every will, she's a 304. And think about, like, there's no way you can get out of it now. You wake up, you're like, gee, the weather sure is weird today. Climate change. Oh, let's watch a TV show. Nazis.
Yeah.
Like, there's no aspect of
Here's some
society where people are allowed to just not
Make your own
be-
opinion first without being told what it is.
66% of women say it's a red flag if a guy has no hobbies. But only 60% of men said the same thing about women.
I'm calling cap on women having more hobbies than men. That's
That's not what that
It's,
means.
It's something I've never even thought about.
It means men care less
Yes.
whether women have hobbies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Women,
Which makes sense, I think.
women should, because guys should have something else that they.
That they fixate about.
They're like, if he does not think about the Roman Empire at least once a
He needs to
day,
think about the Roman Empire.
we're done. We're done with this.
It's also a red flag if guys say all lives matter, and if they believe there are only two genders.
Womp, womp, womp.
But then again, a similar amount of women thought it's also a red flag if a guy identifies as a communist.
That's good.
It's good, but like confusing. Like what do you want? Like he can't be a Republican, he can't be a communist, he can't be a liberal.
Can't be anything.
No, he can be a liberal. That's literally they're saying you can
Well, it
be.
says 19% of women said it's a red flag if a guy identifies as liberal.
Well, those are that 19% of women are the part of that whatever percentage of men that say that she can't identify as a MAGA Republican. By the way, like if somebody's identifying as a MAGA, like I don't know what's worse. If you meet a girl and she's like, I'm a MAGA Republican, or if she's like, I'm an Occupy Democrat, like that's just bad. It's all bad.
Ideally, that's not like a really huge part of your identity.
Don't listen.
Yeah.
Don't go the Lauren Boebert route and say I'm checking party affiliation first. Like she's like,
No,
look,
but like I wouldn't date a Democrat. Just to be real, like I wouldn't date a Democrat. That's a valid
Probably
thing.
wouldn't happen. Yeah.
I don't think a lot of Democrats would want to date Republicans. I think that's
I don't
valid.
think it
It's so
would work.
extreme
I don't
nowadays.
think it would
It
go
used to work.
But I'm saying I don't think it would work out, but I think that you're selling yourself short by not at least allowing yourself to try. Like, I know plenty of people that are blue dog Democrats that are perfectly reasonable
They're
individuals. No, not all of them. I mean, they're closer to my age. Like, who believe in, they may be super pro-union, but they believe in gun rights. They believe in national sovereignty in this stuff. And it's just like when you sector yourself off ahead of time, it's just awful. And the fact that Joe Rogan is that selling point now, like if he watches Joe Rogan, he's a bigot.
I think marry means people though who are a little bit younger, like because I feel like people who are right now like in their 20s ish are way more extreme. If you identify as a Democrat or Republican, just that mere fact that that's like one of the first things that comes to mind means that you're a lot more political than someone who would say the same thing like 20 years ago.
There's a $20 one there from Leonardo DiCaprio.
Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Woman wants everything to be just right. When she finally gets it, it's too late. The bears, Father Time, Mother Nature, and the baby, which represents the future, return and devour her.
Yeah. I think I understood what that meant, right?
It's very poetic.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Things will not.
You should have a Substack.
Yeah.
It is one of those things now where, like, I guess it's also like, who do you think settles more? Do men settle more into marriage, or do women settle? Like, who actually says, like, look, don't they say like a lot of men? It's literally down to like when they ask and they're like, okay, now's fine.
Well, they say that men fall in love sooner than women.
Okay.
Like on the third date, like a guy will kind of know and be in love with someone, whereas women take a lot longer to decide if they like someone or not.
Okay. Can't get ready on time. Can't fall in love on time.
Nope.
That's why men are the true romantics.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways,
Different
right?
from the
Like
sexes.
in a lot of ways, but that's not how the media's portrayed them for years and years and
No,
years.
they're bored.
They're basically
Emotionless bores.
so that's like society is always pushing you into this territory where it's telling you the opposite of what might actually be true.
Every man is Homer Simpson.
Yes. And you idiot.
Every woman is Scarlett O'Hara. That's what the culture wants you to believe.
What was I watched this. I posted this amazing video yesterday, and it's like a story post where it's like guy took me to the did you see the one that I posted? It's like guy takes me to the parkour park where it's like she's running through like a bunch of like obstacles. It's like obstacle courses for like a first date, and the lady looks really dejected and like it's really stupid, and then it cuts to this guy's like, that's the greenest of green flags, where it's just like a wholesome thing that two people go and do together. You can't win these days. Nobody can win.
It's kind of a high stress environment for a first date.
No. It's not like you're running in
unique though.
Yeah, it's unique, and it gets you both out of a comfort zone, right?
Like everybody is overcomplicating it. Like
rock climbing on the first date. Rock climbing wall.
I was just thinking that.
Not the first date, man.
Rock climbing wall on the first date.
Because then if I don't really like you and we're hanging out, like, or like I realize it on the
get
date,
away.
it's like I can't get away.
I think we should
It's a really
normalize
intense situation.
30-second first dates. Because it takes that long to figure out if you want to stay there.
The vibe.
The
vibe check takes 30 seconds.
Well, that's already exists. It's called speed dating. You can go do that right now. It's 5-minute dates.
But then that's like corporate, it just like takes the romance.
It attracts a certain crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, so 5-minute dates, plenty romantic. The corporatization of 5-minute dates, that's where it falls apart.
You can't watch Joe Rogan, but he can't be a
See, I think what it is you should just be forced to sit there and watch a movie with them, and then you can decide, like, does the fact that I'm going to list off to you all of the actors and actresses in order of appearance bother you?
I think that would be a good first date specifically for you.
You know what? This is funny. 41% of men said it's a red flag if a woman is into astrology.
Yeah, should be higher.
Huh. Should be higher.
Should be.
Should be higher.
It's fun.
It's not fun.
It's
ladies
fun
and
for
gentlemen.
women.
It's a red flag.
Men clearly don't
how into it
see the appeal.
Yeah. Does she have a book on it? Does she have all her own cards? Does she? And then
Wouldn't
I guess
know her.
I guess that wouldn't matter. It's like, does she bring them with on the date? That's a huge red flag.
If she asks for what time you were born, that is a red flag.
That's the meme. It's like, Mom, what time was I born? Run! Run! She's bad for you. You want nothing to do with her. All right, let's go ahead and go to Super Chats.
Okay. We've got a lot to get through here.
get
I don't
through
know
'em.
if I want to read this one, Corey Anderson. Sorry. It's a little out there. Shane H. Wilder said, age gaps where women are older than men is odd. Sorry.
It's party time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the third crisis party. It brings me so much joy. It does.
The other way around, not so much. My dad was 12 years older than my mom, and they had a long, loving marriage until he got sick and passed away.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Sorry to hear that.
Nathan,
What?
we're like, sorry for your loss.
No!
That's a bit of a tonal change.
If it goes off again, I'll have to mute.
We'll
Sorry
see.
about that
We'll see.
timing there.
Is it done?
The lights are still going.
It's the ghost that got out.
It's the ghost in the. You guys can't see it, but you guys can't see it. But there's.
I don't know if that'll if we get a fourth crisis party.
Is
I don't
there
know
a
if that will
presence
stop.
among us?
That might keep going. So sorry about that, guys. If you'd like to see that happen again, we'd have to get a fourth crisis party. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that was.
Yeah, we gotta test it
They got
out.
a second. In fact, no. We need you guys to get a fourth crisis party because you just got a free one.
That's the only way to know if this place is haunted or not.
Yeah,
That's right.
Is
Fourth
getting
crisis
another
party.
crisis party.
That's right.
Nathan Koss said the Navy names a ship after Harvey Milk, but everyone wants to banish Bobert. What a joke.
Yeah.
What?
I get it.
See, that's
Like,
the beauty of being politically anarchistic
Well,
is
'cause
that you
she's
don't
a
have to
woman?
care. Like you're like, I don't care. Like I don't care if Lauren.
Let it all
they're like,
burn.
They're like, oh my
It
gosh,
doesn't matter
she
what
acted
she did.
unbecoming. I'm like, when was
Yeah.
the last time a politician acted becoming?
Yeah.
They
Or any
don't.
woman in general. Am I right?
Exactly. Tell them, Mary.
James Orenthal Wen said Linwood, California high school alum. I don't know how to say that. Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh.
Suge. Oh, it's Suge Knight. Suge Knight is a Death Row Records.
Oh.
The guy who owned Death Row Records. He's in jail now.
Okay.
He's a very bad person who made very good.
Oh yeah, he's terrible.
Who produced very good music. So
He joked about giving someone AIDS, didn't he?
Did he? I don't remember.
But it was
that.
just a joke, right?
But yeah, he was a very, very prolific rap producer back in the day.
Shane H. Wilder said, when it comes to Hassan's comments, I'll take ish that didn't happen for 500, Alex.
There you go.
Leonardo DiCaprio said, the role of the jester has always been to mock the king, so one of the unspoken purposes of comedy is to say it is okay to laugh at things thought unassailable or the horrors of life which terrify us.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, that is a huge part of it. But they're not speaking truth to power anymore. In a lot of ways, they're part of the establishment that is the power. So it's one thing when they're pushing back. Now, I realized this the other day. One of the things that I complain about a lot is like, look, you can tell the disdain Hollywood has for middle America by the way they portray middle Americans in movies and television a lot of the time. It's over the top. They're bumbling idiots. They're uneducated. But at the same time, and I thought about it, in a more reasonable interpretation, it's like, look, when they have to do meta humor and they have to portray actors, they often portray them as narcissistic, drug addicted, very bad people. So as long as they're willing to take shots at themselves, now granted, that type of character isn't the most interesting to me. I don't find actors portraying hyperbolized versions of themselves all that interesting. I know some people do. That means that they're willing to push back at themselves, but
it's like, oh, we're so self-aware, but
Yeah.
actually you're not.
But they don't do that very often, so it is what it is.
Taxi Platy said, unlike Mencia, I don't steal memes.
There you go. One should not steal memes.
Hiroshima Otaru said, all racism hoaxers say they're exposing a truth.
It's the truth according to me or the truth according to you.
James Orenthal Wen said, what is this? Rainbow Obama rumors suggests he listens to Eurobeat.
Somebody scream!
I like that.
Fresh Meat said, how does it feel to be back on Friday Fives for your episode counter, Brent?
Oh my gosh, it was the greatest thing ever. Okay, so now...
He has a weird...
Yeah?
I don't want an episode. I don't want 453 to be a Friday episode. I don't want 454 to be a Friday episode. It should be a 0 or it should be a 5.
Okay.
Yes.
Brett likes his T's crossed and his
Order.
I's dotted.
Yeah.
That's something I've
Order.
recently learned about him.
Order, please.
Yes.
I mean, part of it's also because I'm really dumb. So like easier to. It's kind of like when they're like when they're checking IDs for kids now. They're like, are you over 21? Oh, yeah. I see the year was born in the 2000s. You're clearly old enough. Like you. It's like, oh, you were born in the 1900s. You're old enough.
Yeah.
That's
the 1900s.
Yeah.
Corey Anderson, I'm not going to read that one, but you also sent Coca-Cola was invented by a Confederate officer. Why hasn't the woke canceled them? Is that true?
I don't know.
Didn't it used to have cocaine in it?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought it was like invented in Mexico.
My favorite part is like all the, you ever see the pictures of like all the old cough medicines? They were super lit. They had like weed, codeine, meth, and fat. Like they had all sorts of great shit in them. Like no wonder it was easy to be a doctor back then. Here's 1 teaspoon of get fucked up and you're like,
and you're better.
And you're better.
You'll sleep it off.
Yeah, because you'll be knocked out and be
like 4
that would have been
days.
great. I would have thrived in those times. I would have thrived.
Dash Fortune said the Bobbit thing happened in late 80s, early 90s. A couple got into a fight and the woman cut off her partner's partner. It was pretty big in the news at the time.
Oh, I'd have to look it up.
Yep.
I've
You'll
forgotten
remember.
that's right.
You'll
Okay,
remember
yeah,
when you
now
look
I
it
know
up.
who we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yep.
Sir Ranko Productions said, when you look at someone through rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags.
Nice.
How wise.
So that's what you're saying is like Lauren Boebert was in that theater and the guy was cute and she's like, look, so he's a Democrat, so he has drag queen story hour. So what?
It's me time.
He's a drag queen?
He hosted like drag queens at his bar.
Bro.
Yeah.
Where do you find these schmucks? Is there like a dating app just for sketchy political people?
Sign me up. Sign me up.
Sign Brad up. Yep. Corey Anderson said if there are 809 viewers, there should be 809 likes.
There are 324 likes right now and 738 people still currently watching. Let's get that like counter up, ladies and gentlemen. Also, share this video with your friends. Turn the notification bell on. All that good stuff so more people can see this show.
DCNC said everyone on camera looking great today. Crisis party.
There you go.
There's no one off camera.
Nope.
So thanks. Shane H. Wilder said the worst red flag I ever heard was the video where a woman said that using turn signals was a red flag.
Yeah.
WTF.
I always thought that was like
What?
those always seem like staged. Where she's like I just feel like it's a real feminine thing to do. And then somebody pointed out, they're like, well, actually, women are the bad drivers, so it would be more common for a woman.
I'm a horrible driver. I was about to admit to a traffic faux pas that I made this morning, but I think it would actually make me sound like a monster. So I'm just not gonna say it until we're off air.
The other one that I've been seeing making the rounds lately has been, it's like, what's the biggest ick? And she's like, when they're into professional wrestling, and like it's just cut with a bunch of videos of, it's like The Rock saying, "Shut up, bitch." Like it's,
I love the "Shut Up, Bitch" crab dance remix.
Yes.
Tacti Platy said, I'm marrying a former Democrat, red pilled her, and she's more MAGA now. Mary, don't write them all off. Might find a good one, but yeah, most suck. Well, I think that it's more of a red flag if a guy is a Democrat or like a progressive or something. Like that's really suspicious. If a woman is a Democrat, it's kind of just like default.
Yes, you expect them to be default liberal in our society.
Yeah, and I don't think girls find it attractive to go into a relationship being like, I'm gonna have to red pill this person.
No, like I'm not about that mess.
It might be the least attractive thing that anyone has ever done. She's like, I'm gonna have to teach him how to eat.
Guys like explaining stuff.
Yeah. So I've learned. It's like, look, you're wrong on the border, okay?
Yeah.
There's an invasion going on, all right? Do you want to keep driving wages down? Have you seen the human trafficking problem? You say you care about people, and then you're just sitting there. It's literally the meme of the guy at the basketball game going like this, or at the baseball game, explaining to them, and he's like, look, there's an invasion going on at the border. You don't understand fiscal policy. Let me tell you about the Federal Reserve, woman.
Ryle Kittenhouse said, don't have anything to add.
And then you have to be like, look, Kyle Rittenhouse shot a pedophile and a bunch of criminals. He didn't do anything wrong. And then you have to sit there like, look at the video, lady. He didn't kill anybody that did.
And women are like, tampered with the evidence. Wow, really? Yeah. That's crazy. Bucky Ducky.
She's like doing this with her hair.
Bucky Ducky said, I'd love to date a woman who is into astronomy. My girlfriend at the time cared not about the black hole image while I was being a total nerd.
Wait, you mean astronomy or astrology? Because those are very different things.
Very different. Talking about astronomy.
There's same difference.
Yeah, right.
Clouds. Sky. Crofty said, the goat's ghost made it in, chewing on cords.
Must be, because that door opened, and I still have no idea how that door opened in there.
Like today, just now?
Just when you went out before, that door just opened and it scared the crap out of me.
Bucky Ducky said,
entity follows you.
Oh, sorry. DCNC said, happy derp day to you who's in a singing mood.
I don't. If your ears know what's good for them, you won't listen to me sing. That's for sure. Or dance.
Crofty said party time.
We got a party, but I would be happy to get a fourth one to see if the thing is all screwed up still.
Yeah.
Leonardo Derp Caprio said, thanks to everyone in the chat for all the birthday well wishes. It blows me away considering I'm an a-hole now. Knock it off.
Oh, buddy, everyone's allowed to be an a-hole every once in a while. And everyone gets to his, especially since you're not asking us to celebrate your birthday month. That's excessive and disgusting.
That's a red flag.
That's a red flag.
No, that actually is. That's a super big red flag. Like, if a girl says...
This is Brett's favorite red flag. This is his pet red flag.
If a girl says birthday week, it's already a minor red flag. If she says birthday month, run as fast as you can. She is the most self-involved, narcissistic
Did you
person.
have an experience that you want to talk about?
Have you ever seen a woman post something about birthday month that wasn't a self-involved?
I don't think anybody I know has posted anything.
My
about
question is
birthday
like
month.
what if your
Lily
birthday
Pond.
is like July 5th? So like your birthday is like
you get the 5th. That's it.
Right, you get the 5th, but then like do these people celebrate the entire rest of the month when their birthday was over during the first week? Or is it like from June 5th to July 5th?
They're both bad. They're both wrong. You get your day.
I think it's the calendar month.
Yeah,
you get nothing else besides
Is there
that.
something that you want to talk about with the class?
About no
birthday
it's,
months?
anybody in the
Is
chat
this like personal for you?
Look, does anybody in the chat have a birthday, actually celebrate their birthday month? I'm guessing no. It's also a uniquely female thing. A guy that does that's even weirder and more suspicious than a woman that does
suspicious.
it.
Does anyone in the chat, like, or has anyone in the chat known somebody that celebrates their whole birthday month? Because I really don't think this is a thing.
I've seen it. Like with people not that I'm personally friends with, which I think is saying something, but I know people on Instagram, they're real people that I've worked with before who are like, that's my birthday month, like I'm a Gemini baby, and I'm like, so many red flags in one post.
If she says like Virgo season, run.
Yeah.
If she says what's the other one?
My go-to is Gemini. Like
Quit picking on me.
Going into sorry.
It's just run.
What is Ian?
He's an Aries, but he identifies as a Pisces.
Okay.
Pisces season.
Because it's
He's a trans
there's
Pisces.
a different calendar,
You can
right?
be
There's
trans
2 different
another
calendars.
sign.
Yeah. Well, there's like, I don't know. There's the Gregorian calendar, and then there's this other calendar that's
Maybe
13
he just really
months.
admires Tim, who is a Pisces.
What's funny
so
is he's got a lot of Pisces
converted.
traits. He's got a lot of them. Could easily mistake.
What?
Anyways,
I would like to know what are Pisces traits?
Gosh, emotional, easy to get along with.
Yes, only Pisces are emotional.
I know nothing.
They're very
I plead the 5th.
allegedly very emotional ones.
Oh,
They feel
also
they're very empathetic.
If somebody calls themselves an empath, also
Yeah, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
the word using the
A really
word
deep
itself.
feeler.
I would
deep feeler.
I would rather you say I'm a deep feeler than somebody saying than actually using the phrase empath.
Pisces are deep feelers.
I'm too much for someone, or it's not that you're too much; it's that they're not enough.
Yes,
that's a good one.
I'm getting the ick just talking about all this.
People who say they fall in love too hard
or too quick.
Brett's just like losing the will.
The guy's version of this is them posting like really, really dour memes on Facebook that say like, "I'll give you everything, but don't betray me." Like that's even lamer and more pathetic. Like
It's like so unhinged.
it's
Dour memes.
there's just so many, right? Or it's like the people who are like people. It's like somebody making a Facebook post about like people are preying on my downfall. I'm like, dude, you work at a bank.
Yeah,
nobody
you've never
cares.
left your hometown.
Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about me. like nobody's preying on my downfall, and thank God. And if they are, that is the weirdest shit in the entire world. All of these things are just.
Dour memes. I'm gonna be thinking about the phrase dour memes for a long time. Okay, Corey Anderson said, Mary, if you were in a tag team wrestling match in Cast Castle, who would be your partner and who would you wrestle against in the house? I don't really get how wrestling works.
She would wrestle against the guys because they wouldn't be allowed to hit her back, so she should be able to win by default.
Wesley.
Why?
I'd wrestle Wesley. It's easy to.
That's like
he's tall. He can't reach.
He's like trying. No, but then he'll just hold you like this, and you'll be like this, trying to hit him, and he'll just be holding your head
She'll
like
just
this.
jump on his back when he least expects it.
And he can't get her off.
That's right.
So.
That's it.
Bucky Ducky said, to be fair, they're easily mixed up.
They're right next to each other on the calendar. I think it was Pisces, Aries on the calendar. Right? Am I wrong?
Sorry, no, I'm laughing. I looked up dour memes and I'm cracking up. I'm so sorry.
In the chat, James.
Is it like the ones where like it's like I don't know, like Bugs Bunny, like in a gangster outfit or something?
There's some I can't say. This one is we get some kids riled up for pizza and then leave. And it's them hyping up these kids like they're gonna get them pizza and then the adults just walk off.
That's amazing.
You
In the chat, James Brighter has it right. He says Mary would be a heel. Yes, you would play a villain character in wrestling, I think.
I would love
it's
that.
a heel.
A heel is a bad guy. Yeah, I think you may be able to pivot into tweener territory from time to time, where you're like an anti-hero. But for the most part, I think you're more naturally
I get it.
inclined
You
to
think
be
I'm evil.
You're Dower Memes is what that'd be your name. Your wrestling name would be Dower Memes.
Shane H. Wilder said, the minute I hear what's your sign, I'm like, shut up, say Christ is Lord.
That's an interesting
See,
comeback.
that's how you red pill them.
Yep.
Bucky Ducky said, as a Pisces, I can confirm we have feelings.
Shocking!
I think everyone has
Exactly.
feelings.
We all have feelings.
Exactly. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Would you hit the like button on this video? Would you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Thank you very much for that. Make sure you turn the notification bell on so that you can be notified anytime we have one of these episodes, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Also, just so that you get the segment updates as well. They'll be coming out at 8 a.m., noon, 8 a.m., 10 a.m., and noon. So, all right, Cara, where can they find you?
You can find me in the emails. They're back up and running. The members' emails were down for a while, but we are all caught up. So if you have any questions, holler at me. It's members@timcast.com.
If you want to complain about the money guns being
Want to
refilled
complain,
like
you
this.
want to have a conversation, I'm here for it. So
All right. Is that a Virgo thing?
I'm a Gemini, so I don't know.
You're a Gemini. Is that a Gemini thing?
No,
No?
maybe.
No?
I don't
Clearly
know.
it is.
All right. Sarah, where can they find you?
Yeah, what's up? You can find us on Casper, or you can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. Check us out on Casper.com. And I just pulled up, there is a discount code you can use if you buy Casper coffee on Public Square. And that discount code is... One second, Boomer here trying to use Twitter.
Pass through 20.
It's PSQ10 for 10% off.
Brett just looks like he wants to die.
Oh my god. Just holding his
You okay
breath
there?
over here.
You all right?
We're good.
Thank you for having me on the show.
All right. So yes, use that. Don't use the coupon code I say. Use the one she said.
Which one was it? What was the correct one?
It's can I say
Yes.
it? It's PSQ20. PSQ10. PSQ10.
For how much off?
You're throwing me up for 10% off.
I was like, wait, it's 20% off, but it's PSQ 10. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived or hate on Twix. That is also Mary Archived.
Send her Dower memes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
All right, guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twix and Instagram at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. Don't you want to listen to us laugh and slowly lose our sanity little by little? But if you would like to listen to us lose our sanity little by little, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Pandora, and Spotify. And if you want to follow the show on social media, Twix, at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. I have no such coupon code to give you, so I guess we'll just see you tomorrow. Later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I didn't forget the poll, ladies and gentlemen. 58% of you think Russell Brand is innocent. We will abide by these results.